Okay, by any means necessary. Welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome. I am your host, Vale Chicone. We are going to get right into it. As you can see, we have Mrs. Farmer. Okay, she is not done. So let's just get right into it because there's a lot to cover. But today, what do we have? We have Alibeth Starkey. Okay, she is striking back. I'm like, hey, girl, what took you so long? But anyway, better late than never, right? So Candace is actually just calling them Christian Zionist influencers. So let's get right into it. We'll add the other stuff along the way. Bring your comments. We're going to feature them. All right. Here we go. This is Candace Owens, okay? And yes, Erika Kirk, I think, has sent a message. Candace, you need to shut it down. But is she going to? I don't think so. So let's take a look. Here we go, guys.
Have your attention, please, because today is obviously a day of celebration. Yes, in case you missed it, we officially have become the #1 podcast in the world, not in America, okay, not in Europe. I am talking about in the world, and the haters stay mad. Haters stay big mad on the internet, on X today. It is just crazy town. I mean, Christian Zionist influencers are doing that thing where they attack me for telling the truth about something. It's so strange. I don't even know how to react to it. I'm going to do my best here. They're all weighing in and they're commenting and they're saying untrue about something that is literally true. It's literally true. I lived it. It's such a strange thing. It's like they're trying to wipe my own memory and wipe my own emails that I have. Of course, we are at first, before we get to them, going to cover the top viral moments from the heavily anticipated interview with Erika Kirk on Fox News with Jesse Waters. So let's get started.
So as you can see, right out of the gate, Candace Owens throwing shade at the Christian influencers that now that she's a number one podcast, these Zionists, Christian Zionists, are coming after her. Guys, that is absolutely not true. It is true that, yes, her podcast has hit #1. But the people who are coming after her, they're not coming after her because, quote unquote, now that Candace is #1. That is not the reason. They're coming after her because she's just lost it, okay? These accusations that she's leveling left and right, just accusing innocent people, it's making these people to say something about it. But she's out here saying like, okay, almost like I'm the only one who knows what is going on. The rest of you, you need to keep quiet, okay? You need to keep quiet. That way, almost like she has a corner market on the truth, but that is not the case, okay? So what do we have for starters? As you can see, she already accused the Nebraska chapter for having something to do with Charlie Kirk's demise, which is not true, and they've been forced to issue a statement. So this is what they've put out, okay? Let's take a look. So this is a statement that they've put out because they're responding to Candace Owens because they cannot just keep quiet, okay? On the founding of the University of Nebraska-Lincoln TPUSA chapter, this past week, it was brought to our attention that a prominent podcaster and a political commentator, Candace Owens, made mention of our UNL Turning Point USA chapter on her show. She attempted to connect the rechartering of this chapter in February of this year with a 5-day stay of a specific private plane in Lincoln, Nebraska, which happened to occur at the same time. We want to make it clear to everyone who has reached out to us. Anthony Baumhouse, rechartered the chapter in February with no connection to external actors. This was not a founding, but rather a reactivation of the chapter that was previously in existence. So this, that's why they were reactivating the Turning Point chapter. But Candace already mentioned their name, the Nebraska, that she does not understand why this chapter started. Well, they have issued a response. They put out a letter. Do you think Candace Owens has issued a retraction? Do you think Candace Owens has apologized? No, she hasn't. What has she done? On to the next one. Just moving on as if nothing happened. So I'm like, okay, if your quest is to find out truth, you presented this Nebraska chapter, this airplane, as if they had something to do with what happened to Charlie. Here is a response. Where is Candace Owens in all this? No, guys, she's out here taking a victory lap, celebrating her, her podcast being #1. Okay? While leaving all these accusations without any response. So she hasn't responded to any of these to any of these issues. But what is that? If this girl was serious about this investigation, wouldn't it make sense for her to come out and issue an apology? That, oh, my bad. Oh, thank you for, just to correct the record so that people shouldn't be looking at these other people funny. But no, that's not what she's done. So let's watch some more about her, okay? What she has to say. Here we go, guys.
And there are so many people to thank. It is true. We must thank Brigitte and Emmanuel Macron for that ill-advised lawsuit. Obviously, I feel like that ripped a hole in reality and made things even more global than they already were. I'd like to thank Kanye West, formerly Kanye West, he is now Ye, for the song Power, because the song Power really made me recognize that you have to stop listening to your haters. You also should recognize that you need the haters to inspire you to keep going. When somebody tells you you can't be something or you must be something, you have to stand up for yourself. You have to have the courage to say, I know the crowd is doing this, but I'm not doing it. And that was me when I no longer wanted to do the pro-Israel thing. Of course, as always, I thank Ben Shapiro. I thank Jeremy Boring. I thank the direction of travel and they realizing it before I did that I should be fired. Thank you for firing me. But and thank you for the publicity of the firing. Andrew Clavin, Christ is King. Thank you so much. You are a hero in my book. Tucker Carlson, I don't know. I feel like I should thank you because a lot happened because people thought that we were plotting behind the scenes and we never were. And thank you, Tucker Carlson, for the weeks that I get off when the media is attacking you instead of me. Now it's kind of together. It's Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, but thank you. I want to thank Australia. We see you, Australia. Tony Burke, thank you for banning us from an entire country, even though I didn't do nothing. I literally didn't do nothing, but I'm banned. And guess what? You got to hear me anyways. Ha ha ha, Tony Burke. Okay, but in reality, also, obviously, thanking this incredible team, very small. It has stayed small. There's just 4 of us that work on the actual podcast every day. Savannah wearing a ton of hats, Chris in editing, Mark mansplaining, and also being our director, Skylar, the producer, who has to deal with my insane text messages all through the night because my brain is running a million different ways. It's just a really tiny little engine that keeps going. And so that's why we are actually resilient. We do need to hire more people. And you guys still are not getting a window in there. I just want to be clear. I don't want them to get too excited. There will never be any breathing room in the control room. And yeah, obviously, it's been a tremendous year and mostly thankful to my husband for figuring out how to operate an entire podcast business. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he deals with things. He doesn't have time to even watch the show and he's just constantly putting out fires. Could not have done this without all of you guys.
So there it is, Candace Owens taking a victory lap, celebrating that she's number 1. So she's mentioning all those people, thanking them, right? And notice what she said. She ended up thanking her husband, okay, George Farmer, who, according to what she says, does not watch the show. Does not watch the show. I want you guys to listen to her again, okay? Here is her. Listen to what she said over here, okay? Because it's important.
And yeah, obviously, it's been a tremendous year and mostly thankful to my husband for figuring out how to operate an entire podcast business. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he deals with things. He doesn't have time to even watch the show and he's just constantly putting out fires. And yeah, obviously.
Okay, so her husband doesn't have time to watch the show because he's constantly putting out the fires. So take a listen at this, okay? Watch this.
I married George and he has supported me through everything and me never having the fashionable opinion. And of course it impacts as a knock-on effect with the world that he knew. I mean, my husband, think about this. My husband used to work with, and he used to donate to like the Friends of Israel when he was in the UK and he married me. And so, yeah, I mean, I would say I was pro-Israel when we met, but life has changed dramatically and he has been there and has always supported me.
Mr. Farmer stands by. Okay, so that's Candace, right? Saying that George does not watch the show, but it's the same Candace, because like everybody, we were asking, George, are you aware of what Candace Owens is doing online? Where are you? So Candace said like, okay, George supports everything that she's doing. We are talking in regards of what she's doing right now, okay? She supports everything that she's doing. Now, she's telling us that, oh, by the way, George doesn't even watch the show. So now the question is, if George Farmer was aware what his wife is doing on these social media streets, are you telling me he wouldn't put a stop to it? You wouldn't put a stop to it? So, but well, we've heard it from Candace Owens told us like, oh, by the way, George doesn't watch. I'm like, wait a minute. Because with everything that she's been doing, my question was like, ish, this has gone way too much. Where is George? So you guys can figure that out. So notice, while she's taking a victory lap, right? She's thanking all those people. Guys, Candace Owens' show is not number 1 today because she got fired from Daily Wire. It's not that she's number 1 today because she doesn't have sponsors. No. Her show has been catapulted to be number 1 today because she's been covering this conspiracy theory about Charlie Kirk. And she thanked everybody, but she did not thank Charlie Kirk. And yet everybody and their mama can see that no, you have made it to number one, the queen of the podcast worldwide, because of this conspiracy theory that you're putting out about Charlie Kirk. All the other stuff has been debunked along the way. She's not correcting the record, guys. She just, she just keeps going. Why do we know this is Charlie Kirk? Because of Charlie Kirk, there's no secret. If Candace Owens' show was going to be number one, and it's because after she got fired from Daily Wire, when was that? How come the show wasn't number one then? It's been a minute. Her show went way up, a lot of views when she was doing the Macron situation, the series, right? Okay, she stopped covering that for a minute. How come it wasn't number one then? She did the Black Library show. She did a whole bunch of other stuff, right? How come her show wasn't number one then? Now, all of a sudden, she's out here, okay, enjoying the grift with Charlie Kirk. Now the show is the number one, but she's out here thanking everybody else and not thanking Charlie Kirk like we didn't see. No, Candace, you could have just thanked like, you know what, Charlie Kirk, thank you, okay? Because we all know what this is all about. So, but let's go on and listen to how she's, these accusations that she's even bringing against the quote unquote the Christian Zionist, making like, okay, oh, these people are jealous of her because she has this show. That's not true. So let's watch, and then we're going to take a look what Ali and the other influencers are saying. Okay, here is Candace Owens.
For letting me know that it's okay to just be honest. And it was definitely a trying year, realizing that, especially now, the conservatism thing, what is conservatism? The Republican Party is going through a moment. I don't want to be tied down to the Republican Party, and I want to be able to say something against Democrats and Republicans. And we're doing that. We're speaking truth. We're going to continue to speak truth, and we're very excited today. And one of the things that we are speaking truth about right now, and which my haters are like, it's because you're talking about Charlie Kirk. You guys change this every month. First it was, oh, it's because of the Brigitte Macron thing. Oh, it's because of the Kamala Chronicles. Oh, it's because of the Blake Lively lawsuit. The common denominator here is me looking for truth. And I think people are catching on to the fact that I'm sincerely looking for truth, and I don't care what enemies I make along the way. And obviously I'm making a lot of enemies right now, for some reason, looking into the Charlie Kirk assassination and the lies that we are being told. Let's get into Erika Kirk. Obviously, it was a very anticipated interview. I think we didn't really know what we were going to get. I don't know why I thought it was going to be like more about the investigation. And obviously, in retrospect, that's not what it was about, because it's Fox News, and Fox News is not going to do this like heavy investigation. It was kind of more giving her a platform to speak about how things have changed for her, how things have changed for Turning Point USA, what it's like being at the helm of the organization. What are her thoughts about what that organization is going to look like going forward? And I'm speaking about Jesse Waters, who hosted this discussion, also trailed her at the event that she did with JD Vance at the University of Mississippi. Now, people around the world obviously have been moved by Erika's commitment to her Christian faith, the strength, obviously, that it takes for her to look after her kids, to look after herself, plus to steward this massive company, all while she's grieving, right? And that's kind of one of the things that stood out the most to a lot of people. But I would say the Christian message is what has resonated the most when she got up on stage and she said that I forgive him pretty instantly. I mean, when was the memorial event? It was only 10, 11 days after he was assassinated. I think it was even less, maybe. It was like the 19th, 9 days after he was assassinated. Oh, sorry, the 21st. Mansplained in my ear. Thank you, Mark. So Jesse asked her about the harder moments that she has encountered becoming a widow. And she shared that nighttime is the hardest. She also shared her experience with the emotions of being a widow compared to the emotions that other widows may experience when grappling with sudden loss. And here's what she had to say. Take a listen.
It's so easy to be in a position of feeling regret when you lose someone you love. And I tried to read a book by C.S. Lewis because he lost the love of his life. He was only married to her for 4 years. It's called A Grief Absurd. And it was a very hard book to read. Not because it was about grief, but because in the opening pages he talked about how angry he was with God. And I've never felt that. I'm not angry with God. Never have been. Never have I questioned, why, Lord, are you putting me through this? Why are you testing me? Why are you? Because God is so good and he's so sovereign. And I know he uses everything, even what the enemy meant for evil. And I have no regrets.
So when I saw this moment, I was just thinking about myself and my a lot of emotions and grieving that I have experienced and all the emotions that I've shared with you guys and the anger that I have felt. And I want to be very clear that I am not that example that she is giving. I could have never, and I know that so many people agree with this, I could have never forgiven Tyler Robinson for whatever part he played in this. And obviously I'm saying whatever part he played in this because I don't believe that he was the lone person involved. I don't even think he's the person that killed Charlie Kirk. But even if you believe all of those things, I never could have turned around and forgiven him that quickly, right? And I have not even processed. I definitely, when I prayed about this, asked a ton of questions to God. And yeah, she is absolutely right in what she is saying. And she is delivering to us what the biblical teaching is on these matters. But I could not feel that way. And so I was questioning myself, listening, I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, well, actually, what is wrong with me? Why am I not able to get to forgiveness? Why am I not able to, or why am I rather questioning and asking why, and why doing this to somebody so young? I mean, even my dad, by the way, was so impacted. He met Charlie a couple of times, but he was so impacted by Charlie's assassination that it made him go, I want to be, I remember my dad said this, like, I want to be a grandfather and a better father because I look at myself and I'm older and I haven't lived a life anywhere near as admirable as Charlie has lived his life. My dad literally said this to me on the phone. And it makes me feel like, why him? Why did this happen to Charlie Kirk? And I just, I don't know. That's kind of what I was thinking. I was going, wow, what is wrong with me that I have felt all of those things, that she has had the wisdom to just not go through that. You know what I mean? Or not, I guess I shouldn't say not go through that, but not fixate on that. I couldn't today, after everything that's happened, be like, I forgive Tyler Robinson. I can't do it. I just can't do it. And I think maybe if I'm assessing myself and being hypercritical of myself right now, it's because I cannot forgive until I know what happened. I don't know what I'm forgiving, actually, until I know what happened. And this might move into what we're going to get into later, where of whether or not she believes that they have caught the true killer of Charlie Kirk, right? Do you believe that? The person that we have in custody, is that the person that pulled the trigger? Is that the only person that pulled the trigger? Anyways, I want you to hear it directly from her and not me recapping what she said or reiterating it, rather. It's gone viral because of what she didn't say, to be honest with you. Take a listen.
Do you think they've caught your husband?
Okay, so before we go to what she said about the killer, so this is the issue with Candace Owens, right? Because she's saying like, okay, I wouldn't know how to forgive the person because what am I forgiving? Well, she's telling us this is how she feels, which is okay, which is fine, right? But remember, as Christians, as believers, we have been forgiven, and we are also commanded to forgive those who trespass against us, okay? So now I do grant people might get to the forgiveness differently. Some people might be quick to forgive. Some people might take longer to forgive. However you slice the cake, the command for a believer is to what? Is to forgive. The command for a believer is to forgive. It doesn't matter how big the thing is or how small it is, right? According to a biblical worldview, we are commanded to forgive. So is Candace aware that that is a command that we have from the scripture, that we are to forgive our enemies? Not only are we to forgive our enemies, we're to pray for our enemies, and we're to love those who persecute us. That is the Christian message. And yes, it is very hard to practice. It is very hard to do those things, but those are the things that we are commanded to do. So I have also noticed the way Candace has portrayed herself in this, when she's talking about Erika, in a way kind of like endearing herself to Erika. Guys, make no mistake about it. This lady has accused Erika without mentioning Erika's name. She has accused Turning Point USA of a cover-up. Who is in charge of Turning Point USA? You tell me. So how can you accuse Turning Point USA of a cover-up without accusing Erika? And by the way, with zero evidence. So let's continue, okay? Welcome, guys. Thank you for being here, okay? I hope you guys can hear me now, okay? No, Candace does not know Christ as our personal savior. There's nothing, she does not exhibit any fruit of the Spirit in any way, shape, or form. She is obsessed with vengeance. That's all. Like, she's trying to score points here. And now that this Charlie issue has made her to be at the number one, I think there's no stopping. There is no stopping this woman. But what she's doing is very dangerous because it's implicating people. It's accusing people. We're going to we're going to cover all that. it actually has implications on real people who are actually experiencing the opposite end of what she's doing, the receiving end of what she's doing in a negative way. It's very dangerous. All right. Let's hear what Erika said about this issue. Okay, here we go.
Husband's killer?
So, something I'm so grateful for is that we have one of the most incredible teams for this case. I would never wish it upon anybody to have to go through what we are going through. To have seen the autopsy report, to have seen the different evidence portions that have been collected, I trust our team.
So it's not a straight yes or no. And the implication could be that she trusts the team to find more or to get answers, or if this is not it, to tell her what the true answers are. And I think that's why this is going viral, because they're going, okay, does she actually believe that Tyler Robinson acted alone? And obviously Jesse is not going to push her on that, because it would have probably felt more like an interrogation rather than just sitting down and speaking through some of these topics that are probably hard to talk about in general. But I am hopeful that...
No, Candace. You see, she wants to gaslight her audience. They ask her, Jesse Waters asked Erika Kirk, do you believe they have your husband killed? She could have just said, no, I don't believe. She says, I trust our team. She does believe that they have a right guy. You don't have to agree with Erika, okay? But that's what she says. She has seen the autopsy. She has seen certain evidence that she is confident that they've got the right person. So the interview even went on like, oh, you know, she wouldn't even wish the person to face death penalty, things of that nature. But she wants to sow in some seeds for people to be like, oh, by the way, I'm not the only one who is on the quest here, who does not believe it's Tyler Robinson. Look, Erika is also in the same. No. If Erika thinks that, she could have said that. That's not what she said. We already know Candace Owens has come out publicly. She does not believe it's Tyler Robinson. Okay? No problem, Candace Owens. It's not Tyler Robinson. Can you tell us who it is? Can you tell us who it is? Because the people she is accused, some of the people, oh, the plane in Nebraska had nothing to do with it. Okay? We have the Egyptians. We have Ukrainians. I mean, we have the Trumps. You name it. The list is endless. So clearly, she doesn't, she has no answer to this question. The only way for us is to wait through the trial. The person who is in custody right now is Tyler Robinson. If it's not Tyler Robinson, then you need to tell us who it is. So far, has Candace Owens filed a police report that this particular person did it? Has she filed a police report that we can verify? No. So she's out here enjoying her #1 podcast, over Charlie Cake's dead body. This is what it is, guys, okay? But let's hear her theory over here. Here we go.
What she's implying is that she trusts her team to do the due diligence. She says that she has seen the autopsy report. She has seen certain things. Obviously, none of us have seen the autopsy report. And I don't know. I didn't know what to make of that. Is she saying that there's more that's going to come out? Is that kind of a foreshadowing that more is going to come out?
No, Candace, there's nothing you need to make out of. She has seen the autopsy report. She's the next of kin. You haven't seen it. So it's time for you to shush. Okay? Move right along. So don't sow the seeds of doubt in people's mind without the evidence. She is telling us she's seen the report. Okay? Unless you have a counter argument against what she's saying, we welcome it. But as it stands right now, no. Don't try to put words in Erika Kirk's mouth that she hasn't said. We haven't forgotten that you accused her of having something to do with it. So let's not pretend otherwise, okay?
Now, and things are going to be clear. I hope so. I really do. Because in terms of what the public has seen so far, I would say nothing has been convincing. And I'm trying to imagine what they would have that the public hasn't seen that could be.
Which public, Candace Owens, okay? And, other people believe what's happening. Other people don't believe what's happening. So for you just to say like, oh no, the public does not believe what's in the public domain, that wouldn't be an accurate statement. Or she could say just like, you know what? There is a mixed theories in the public, which is fair, okay? Other people are satisfied. They're okay with it. Other people are not. I think it's okay to say that.
Sort of a smoking gun. And in theory, it would be the footage, right? Tyler Boyer said, we have footage in 4K, all of the stuff when he was tweeting. And similarly, not the university, but somebody else was saying that, on every angle, every area of the university is covered. Their excuse for not showing the public was they didn't want it to in any way impact the case. That has never made sense to me. That excuse has never made sense to me. In fact, I would imagine that when there was a manhunt going on, before you were even thinking about the case, but rather thinking about keeping people safe, that would have been a good time to drop some clear footage of the individual. But it's possible. It's possible they have actual clear footage of Tyler Robinson jumping down onto the rooftop and firing the shot. That's all possible. And so we're just going to have to wait and see on that. Now, I'm going to say personally, and maybe even selfishly, probably selfishly, again, I'm fallen. I'm very fallen, obviously. I was extremely excited that she responded to the Catholic innuendo once and for all in her own way. Obviously, it was not a direct question or anything. But two things happened here. One, you probably didn't catch, which is behind Jesse and Erika as they're walking backstage at the University of Mississippi event that they headlined. There was a priest. Look in the corner there. I know a priest collar when I see one. Yep, that is the same priest that she took with her to the hospital when Charlie was shot. And I don't know. I am maintaining that I think this may have been about more than the architecture. And in case you are not there yet, in addition to that, the priest being caught behind the scenes there, they traveled with Erika and she discusses Charlie's affinity for Saint Michael. Take a listen.
When we first started dating, I asked him, I was like, why don't you wear a cross? I was like, why? You say you're a Christian, but you don't wear a cross. He's like, I don't know. I'm not a jewelry guy. And I was like, I understand. So for his first birthday present, I got him this cross. And then throughout time, I would always add different medals to it. And so he loved Saint Michael. And so, yeah, every time he'd put this on, he just felt like it was his armor.
Are we done here, guys? He felt like St. Michael was his armor. Okay. Now, I wanted to point that out because in retrospect, I get more and more just amazed and upset at how vicious and cruel and unnecessary people are. Just all of the videos people made when I wasn't even mentioning it as a big deal. I was doing a tribute video to Charlie and being like, we were all hoping that he was going to take the step and become Catholic, gave no details. And the next thing I knew, Operation Christian Zionist Influencer was, while I was in a state of trauma and grieving, coming after me and saying that it wasn't true. And I don't think any of them have made videos since clarifying that no, Candace seems to have been telling the truth, because who cares about the truth when you can just like dunk on Candace? But I thought that was a very natural way to kind of respond to it. And, she's probably not going to give us any more because she doesn't have to give us any more. Like I said from the beginning, he didn't convert to Catholicism, but it's just kind of okay for us to tell the truth about where he was at on his spiritual journey. I don't know why that's a big deal at all, outside of just hating Catholics, which is what I am receiving a lot of that as. And there's just been so many lies that have been told, and we're going to get into more of them later. And the frustration that I have with people who purport to care about Charlie, why they peddle ridiculous, tiny lies, doesn't make sense to me. Anyways, but keeping with Erika's interview.
So here, personally, I wish the turning point could just come out and say to this Catholic thing once and for all, okay? The problem is Catholics don't understand, they don't get it as to why it's such a big deal for evangelicals to be like, wait a minute, there is no fellowship between evangelicals and Catholics, okay? We don't believe the same thing. Superficially, it might look like we believe the same things, but at the core of it, we don't. Like if somebody is a Roman Catholic, it's just not another denomination. It's just not another thing. So I think if they could have come out, just said, this, it would just been fine. Okay. So yes, if Erika, she's the one who bought those things, evangelicals, we don't believe you wearing rosary. There's nothing wrong with you wearing a necklace with a cross. Okay. Evangelicals do wear that. That is fine. But the idea of like, okay, you have these saints, whatever, and these are protecting you and everything, that is antithetical to Protestantism, okay? That's even antithetical to the scriptures, because the rosary is not protecting you. Only Christ, he does protect you. So Candace Owens is using this issue as a victory rap, okay? And all the other stuff that has come out, had a Roman mass funeral, buried at a Roman Catholic cemetery. Oh, he wasn't converting, but he was almost there. It is bringing a confusion, because the question is like, okay, why can't you guys just come out and say what it is? But they know. If they come out and say like, oh yes, this is what was happening, the evangelicals might be like, hold up, okay, what's going on? So are they protecting the brand? What's happening there? So the gentleman that is showed over there, is a priest. So if the gentleman is a Catholic priest, it's a legitimate question. What is he doing there? Okay? So according to her, that's the priest that was brought to their home. Why did they bring the Roman Catholic priest to their home? Why didn't they bring their pastor? Why it had to be a Roman Catholic priest? So when all these rumors about Catholic this, Catholic that, it's there's a smoke there that's causing all this. And at every turn, Candace Owens is going to use that as a jab, okay? Because she doesn't get it as to why it's an issue. It's not like these Christian influencers are coming out whatsoever. But if it is true, and then Christian influencers are ignoring it, pretending like they're not aware of it, they didn't hear of it, then, they're going to look like a hypocrites, okay? So what is it? What was happening there? Was he a Catholic or not? Okay? So, yeah. So hopefully they'll say something about it. Or if they don't, this is what happens. So this is just going to be par for the course. So this is Lady Candace. What are you guys saying in the chat before we go to the next one? Okay. So just like I noticed, most evangelicals, this Catholic thing, they didn't even comment. They don't even want to touch it. So it makes me like, why you guys don't want to say anything about it? Okay. Is there some truth to it? Is that the reason why? But once again, it's Candace Owens, right? She doesn't even correct the record when when something happens, whereby be like, okay, you know what, Candace doesn't know how things transpired. Those are the things that are happening. Yeah, she saw this to Charlie's wife. Oh no, she doesn't care. Okay, she does whatever she wants to do right now. Yes, exactly. No, yeah, it's not only the priests who do wear a collar. You're correct. Yeah, because there are Presbyterians. You know what I mean? Presbyterian elders, they do wear a collar as well. Okay, and yeah, there's some Baptist preachers who wear a collar as well. That is actually true. So you're correct. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, okay, just because we saw a guy over there wearing a collar, it could be a Presbyterian, whatever. But she is saying that's the same priest who was brought to their home. And Meghan Kelly had reported they called a Catholic priest to come to their home to cast the spell that the Jezebel had casted on them. So it's not, if it was just isolated incident, oh, there's a guy there wearing a collar, you cannot conclude that is a Roman Catholic priest. It can be something else. But because there's another background story to all this, Candace, she's going to use that to advance her agenda, so to speak. Okay? To advance her agenda, so to speak. So this is, all right, let's continue, guys. Okay? Here we go.
Interview, she was asked directly, and this is probably the most viral moment from the sit down, about how she personally feels about the conspiracy theories that are circulating regarding his murder. And here is her answer.
There's other theories swirling around about Charlie's assassination.
Right.
How does that make you feel?
When everything happened, my phone died. It became a black hole. I just didn't turn it on for weeks on end. I've intentionally insulated myself because I need to guard my heart, and I need to be there for my kids, and I need to be there for Turning Point. And what I've realized through all of this is that everyone grieves differently. Everyone is trying to figure out, and I don't blame them, how does this happen? How does somebody become so radicalized where they can justify this in their own head? We just lost one of the greatest voices of our generation. Why? How? What's behind it? Like, everyone's trying to process this. And I respect that. But where my heart is just asking for some grace is for the ones who were there that day. They have to relive that every single day. He didn't die in a car accident. He didn't die from cancer. He was assassinated. And the difference between this and previous assassinations in this country is there was no social media. There was no AI. I can tell you how many fake images are out there of all of this. And again, my only request is that just please pray and consider and think about whatever you put online, because it's going to impact his kids in the future. I don't want my kids to go on the internet one day when they're older and see things that, it's just, we're all trying to process this in their own way, and I appreciate that. But just some grace would be nice.
So I think it's a gracious answer, and I think it's a gracious request to, assert first and foremost that people are doing this because they care and they care about Charlie, and also this was a traumatic event that the entire world experienced, and also the reason why the internet is investigating is because the feds aren't, and not only are they not investigating.
That's not true. Is the case going on right now? The case is going on. The investigation is going on. She just doesn't like it that the feds are not reporting to Candace Owens. So that's a lie that the feds are not investigating. It's absolutely false.
They're telling some pretty obvious lies, right? Number one being that he was shot by a 30-06 and stopped the bullet when in a normal circumstance, it would have decapitated him. Like a 30-06 will decapitate someone. And because they've been so ridiculous and then gaslighting us by being like, you're dishonoring Charlie's legacy, people are digging their feet in the ground because it's just disrupts us spiritually to watch something like that and then be told like nothing to see here. Now, here's what I will say about her request to consider the people that were there that day. The people that were there that day experienced a trauma because they watched Charlie Kirk die, or maybe they didn't see him die, maybe watched him get shot, heard the shot, who knows what the exact specs are. This is where it's going to be really hard for Erika to be a CEO and to be somebody who is a widow at the same time, right? Because the messaging that is coming out of Turning Point USA, so this is Erika in her CEO and her chairman capacity, has just been unacceptable, right? It can't be both. It can't be, okay, everybody, we're going to keep going. And, Mikey's going to take over for Charlie at his Liberty event that he has, which is going to be sold out. And Turning Point USA people who are directors of faith are going to be telling you, like, Mikey's got what it takes. Here's what, blah, blah, blah. And then Mikey's going to tell stories about that day, go on a show multiple times. Andrew's going to talk about it. Everyone's going to talk about it. And they don't want to talk about the stuff that we care about. Like, this is what it means to have a podcast, right? You can't want fame.
You see, this lady, she's a queen manipulator. Okay? Erika Kirk, did you hear, was she saying anything about Mike in that clip we watched? She is asking for grace, especially for people who were there. Okay? Mike McCoy was one of the people who were there. And that message, guys, is straight up to Candace Owens. And she knows it, okay? But she wants to pretend to act like, you know what? Erika Kirk was not addressing me. No, Erika Kirk was directly addressing Candace Owens, okay? Without mentioning her name, okay? Without mentioning her name. Because she wants to pretend like, you know what, we can carry on the way we are doing right now. It's fine. That message was straight for Candace Owens. You need to show grace for the people who were there, okay? She needs to show grace, which she hasn't, okay? Which she hasn't. So I thought this part was quite interesting, okay? Take a look at this.
Did you find out Charlie had been shot?
Was at my mom's doctor's appointment. I have my phone and I see the video come in of him flinging out the hats. And I said, Mom, look, it started. So we saw the hats being flung. I put my phone down and it was on silent, so I had no reason to look back at it. I moved my mom, I went back to grab my phone, and that's when Mikey started calling me. He called me within seconds.
I called Erika. I just remember it rang like 3 or 4 times. I didn't know what to say. Those are the words that will change someone's life forever, and you have to be the one to say it. That was the first time I've ever called her during a campus tour stop.
And so Mikey called me, and I'll never forget him just being like, Charlie's been shot. He's been shot, get the kids. Get security, get the kids, he's been shot. I sprinted out of her treatment center. I just collapsed in the middle of the parking lot. I called our security. Yeah. Unbelievable nightmare.
So where is the retraction from Candace Owens for the accusations that she has leveled left and right against Mike McCoy? And yet Erika is there saying, yes, I actually received a phone call from Mike. But Candace told the entire world that no, there is no way Mike was on the phone with Erika Kirk. Well, Erika Kirk just confirmed that, yes, Mike called her. So is Erika lying? Is Erika lying? So this is a problem that we have with Candace. She doesn't want to accept the information that's there. And now you can question things for sure. But right now, the trial hasn't started, okay? The investigation is still ongoing. This thing is going to go to trial. The evidence that's there is going to be cross-examined. Whatever happened, whatever the bullet it was, the autopsy report, they are going to have expert witnesses who are going to testify. And trust and believe Candace is not one of them. And she cannot be one of them. And she's not going to be one of them. But she's out here telling us the public does not believe what's happening. Okay? Here we have Candace Owens' brother believing what's in a public domain. Take a listen. Okay? Here we go, guys.
Have you ever seen a case where a father turned his own son into law enforcement like this? Because I've been scratching my brain, and that's really not something you see a lot.
Yeah, I've never. Now, it could be possible, depending on if the father was involved in something, all of that stuff. But in this case, that's not the case, right? This is not a lover's triangle or something weird situation where the dad is involved in the crime. This is a mom who identified. You got to think the FBI didn't catch him initially. They didn't know who he was.
So for 33 hours, Tyler Robinson is on the loose.
He's on the loose.
And they have these images that come out.
Up. And they're getting tips online, too. People don't understand that. They got 10,000 tips or something like that, which they followed up on. But he's online. He's out there, and they haven't identified him yet. His mother identifies him. She confirms with his father that it's him. The father convinces him to turn himself in. They communicate with the deputy sheriff, a neighbor, who coordinated him to turn himself in without, obviously, the SWAT team coming to his house and doing a dynamic entry. So I find it to be unreasonable to believe that somehow his dad is want to get him the death penalty. For what reason? When you turn your son in knowing that he committed a crime such as this, which is an assassination, an intentional murder, he premeditated it, and he did it for political reasons. And when you say, I'm going to turn my son into the authorities, you are turning him in knowing he can get the death penalty. Mm-hmm. No father would do that unless they are pretty confident that their son has done this. Now, according to the FBI, he actually confessed to his parents that he did it. Now, there's a difference between a confession and pleading not guilty in the court of law. A person can confess to their parents, but you can plead not guilty because you want to not end up getting a death penalty. So in my opinion, I think the fight is not whether he's guilty or not. The fight is to try to not allow him to get the death penalty, which is why they didn't want the cameras in the court, which is why they wanted to dress in plain clothes.
You're making way too much sense.
And by the way,
you're making way too much sense. Brandon Tatum, stop making so much sense.
It's in addition to that, we have that Discord chat that came out where he said, I don't have it in front of me, but it's something to the extent of, hey guys, I don't know if you saw the news, but it was me in Utah.
They had 20 people on that Discord chat, which the FBI is investigating all 20 of them. And the thing is, people don't understand forensics, right? There's a forensic extraction of all the content on Discord from his communication with that chat and every chat he's been on, and all 20 people in every chat that they've been on. Also, the electronic communication between him and his boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever that is. It's a boy, the transgender person. The communication that people don't have access to because they showed a synopsis, but they have extracted all the content from his phone and the other guy's phone in the relationship. And also, I know that so some people that have never investigated anything, and they say, well, it's kind of confusing the way he's communicating with the transgender person. But unless you have evidence of how he communicates in his other text communication, you cannot make a true judgment on whether or not it's suspicious, him using the word vehicle and different things of that nature.
Well, and not only that, but you're talking forensics, but that would also go. My experience is more OCONUS, right? Because as an intel officer, but it's a lot of the same metadata, the same electronic collection that we'd be using. So they could track his cell phone, and if he had gone to that, and there's this new witness that's come out that said they spotted someone on that roof. I think it was a week prior, and of course they're going to do with that cell phone, track the forensics. Okay, did he go a week prior? Was that him?
They made a statement in the affidavit that they submitted to the court that he did. They found on his phone searches and Google Map searches of that university. Yep. And they can tell if he's searching that, is how much time he spends on the site. And all of those things are part of the investigation. If people would just let them do their job. And if in the court of law with cross-examination, they're not doing their job properly, then let's go after, them and judge them on that.
All right, everybody. Brandon Tatum making way too.
So there you have it, guys. But has Candace Owens corrected the record? Because she came out and to say that that's not what happened. The young man was not turned in by his dad or his parents. But that's exactly what happened. Okay? Any correction from Lady Candace on this issue? None whatsoever. So this is the problem with her. She's out here giving all this information to people, but she doesn't want to correct the record, even though the record has been corrected publicly. She just keeps moving on as if nothing happened. So that's the problem. Like, okay, are you in a quest for truth, or you're just doing this for the sake of doing this? You know what I mean? Remember, we are the people of truth, okay? Truth, you should be able to arrive to truth. This idea of having like a infinite number of regress where we're never going to arrive to the truth. That's not how God has ordered things. You ask a question, there's got to be an answer. It's going someplace else. That's why Candace keeps changing things, moving the goalpost. She doesn't have any destination. All the things that have been debunked, she just pretends as if nothing happened. So critical thinking is out of the window. Even just as a Christian, where is your integrity? Where's your honor in all this? I don't see it. Okay. So here is the sheriff. Okay, take a look at this. Okay, we have the sheriff here.
Within the hour, my friend drove Tyler and his parents to my office, where he was greeted by plainclothes detectives. So that was part of the deal. Is Tyler knew it was just inevitable with all the law enforcement pressure that his picture. Within the hour.
So that's him there confirming that's what happened. But Candace was like, oh, that idea, his parents sent him in and everything else was just a lie. No, it wasn't a lie. It's actually what took place. Is actually what happened. But this lady, she is not interested in the truth. So we can actually see how she's conducting this. So guys, if that is not all, okay, hold on here. There was also another young man. I don't know how this young man found at the eye of Candace Owens. Oh, and then we have, hold on, we need to have, wait a minute. I need to find the young man because no. That was so important. I had it here, guys. Where are you? Okay, I need to look for it. So there's another young man who Candace has accused, okay? Candace has accused of having something to do with it at the campus. Posted his pictures all over the place. And this young man had to come out, guys, it's me. I had nothing to do with what happened to Charlie Kirk. But Candace had already circulated his pictures to everybody and their mama, okay? So here is a picture of this young man. So here. All right. Okay, so this is a young man here in green and a hoodie. So here is a clear photo for you. So this is Candace putting it out, everybody should see who this young man is. And then here he is. Hey guys, this is me. My teammate and I were just on the campus to get food and stopped by the event. We always wear silly stuff like that. Sorry, guys. So everybody, because it's Candace, right? She's doing an investigation. This young man is out there panicking. So I think like one of the, it must be like one of his mom's friends came out to say, that is my son. He's a football player. You know what I mean? Soccer player on the campus. This is what they do. Everybody knows them. You know what I mean? Like what stupid boys do on campus. And Candace had already put his information out, blasted out there. We are looking for this young man, making that young man a suspect. And yet, he had nothing to do with anything. You see? So this idea of just accusing people, it's absolutely dangerous. It's absolutely dangerous. So I was just like, man, she needs to stop. Okay? So we have find out Tyra Robinson was detained by the authorities. Candace said that's not what happened. We have find out the Nebraska Turning Point chapter was already there. They were just reactivating. Candace Owens still has not corrected the record. The same thing with the plane. Now we are here about Erika Kirk. So let's see what she had to say over here. Then we'll get to the Zionist influencers, as she calls them. Okay? Here we go, guys.
Aim only on your command. This is kind of the Meghan Markle thing, right, that we talk about. And I'm quoting this to Mikey McCoy. It's like everybody wants to be famous until you're famous, okay? We want privacy now. Well, it doesn't actually work that way. You don't get to be like, I want to marry you and I want to be a princess and then become a princess. And you're like, well, I don't want to be a princess, right? It's kind of, it You got to pick one or the other. So if there were turning point individuals who were so traumatized that day and they needed to go away, I mean, I had to go away for 2 weeks to collect my thoughts about the trauma that I saw having watched it. And a lot of people I know that had to take breaks. I had to take the show off the air for a couple of days, and they just, needed time to process. It'd be a little bit different. Actually, it's almost came across like they needed zero time to process, and they were kind of annoyed that the world needed time to process. And then the things that they were telling us were lies. We were able to factually debunk things that we were being told. And then you've got people like Tyler, who's featured in this, Tyler Boyer, who you're the chairman and the CEO. Tyler Boyer is a sexual deviant, right? Why do we have to give, because he was at the hospital, give him grace? But it's like, no, this is now what's at the head of the company. Charlie's not there. We want to make sure that this company is going to be committed to truth. We want to make sure this company is not going to be telling us that we can't care about this or not be focused on that, because we need to decide whether this is still the same company. That's what it means, right? Is this still the same company? And so I think with the McCoy thing, everyone wanted.
I mean, this lady, oh my gosh. To me, Erika, you should come out and straightforward to shush this girl. Tyler Boyer was already working at Turning Point USA when Charlie Kirk was there. So if Charlie Kirk did not want Tyler Boyer there, how come Charlie Kirk didn't fire Tyler Boyer? Mike McCoy was already working at Turning Point when Charlie Kirk was there. If Charlie was not satisfied with Mike McCoy, why didn't Charlie Kirk fire Mike McCoy or Rob McCoy? So there's nobody new at Turning Point. Do you know the person who is new at Turning Point is actually Erika Kirk? She is the one who is new there as far as, being the CEO, okay? The rest of the people were already working there. So if Candace Owens has issues with these employees, where are her videos prior to Charlie Kirk dying to be saying this is not the same company, whatever else she wants to accuse Turning Point of, okay? She is out here because she is jealous. It's these other people who are going to be the beneficiaries of Turning Point USA, and it's not going to be Candace Owens. Okay, that's all it is. So she's going to be out here to make sure she casts so much doubt in the windows, accusations against these people. Because she was fired from Turning Point USA because the majority of people over there, it was like, you know what, this girl got to go. So now what she's doing, it's a payback, but disguised as if she wants the best for Turning Point USA. We can see through this, okay? And even if, let's just grant what she's saying is true, what does she care? Do we know what's going on at Candace Owens' company? Do we have the authority to tell Candace Owens, oh, by the way, we don't like Skylar, your producer. You need to fire her. Do we have that authority? We don't. That's her business. So leave Erika alone. That's her business, okay? She can hire and fire as she pleases. Unless Candace Owens, is she a donor? She's not a donor. She does not own any part of Turning Point USA. So whatever they're doing there, even though you might not like it, you have no authority to dictate how they should run the affairs of Turning Point USA. So Erika needs to be strong as a CEO. If she is not, they are going to walk all over her. And Candace has already started doing that. So here we go.
A stage until you got a stage, okay? And people started going lie, right? Case in point, Alex Clark wanted to do the Wall Street Journal thing until caught this little lie. And it's like, what are you saying this thing about Catholics? That's not true, okay? Take the stage or don't take the stage, but it can't be in between. And then suddenly when the public turns against you, I don't want a stage anymore. That would be my response to that. And I do not have any sympathy for Rob McCoy. I have no sympathy for Mikey McCoy. I have no sympathy for Tyler Boyer. I think telling the truth is a very easy thing to do when you have a microphone. And if you don't want to tell the truth, it just makes you look more suspicious. And I can give you an example of that. There was some kid who was wearing green at this UVU event, right? They looked kind of shady. There was a ton of rumors. We got a bunch of emails, but I never covered it on the show because I didn't think there was anything beyond the fact that he looked kind of shady in a green hoodie. And I think it was yesterday, Sam Parker was like, who are these guys? And I can't get a clear image of this person. I then respond, I'm like, here's a clear image of this person. The actual person wearing the green hoodie then responds very quickly. He's like, that's me. Sorry, I dress weird. I think he's on the soccer team at UVU. And that's it.
No, the guy had to respond because of the incoming. It's not like these people are responding because they just want to clear their name. It's because of the incoming, guys. Okay? But she wants to gross over oh no, the guy, I requested this issue, but guess what? This guy just responded to me. It was nothing. No, guys, it wasn't nothing. Okay? Case in point, Seth Dillon. Listen to what he's experiencing. This is the CEO of Babylon Bee. Okay? Watch this.
going on in your life, and why are you getting death threats?
Well, kind of wild, right? You wouldn't think. It's certainly not one of those things that I predicted would ever happen when I started running a comedy website on the internet. You know, that satire. First of all, you know, that we were going to end up in this fight for free speech, which has been something that was also unexpected. But then, of course, that we would be, you know, caught up in so many of these other things that are just unrelated to what we do. But, you know, everyone's looking for a line and angle of attack. In my case, the guy that you're mentioning, his name is Nicholas Ray. He's a Texan. He lives in Houston, Texas. 28-year-old. Was accusing me and others. It wasn't just me, by the way. It was a number of several other conservative influencers who, you know, I don't even know if it's important or necessary to name them, because that only draws more negative attention to them potentially. You know, where people are going to start targeting others continually. But he was threatening several different people along the lines of the argument that, you know, there's complicity, there's stuff that's being hidden. You know, there is a dishonest attempt to portray ourselves, me and these other individuals, a dishonest attempt on our behalf to portray ourselves as being close friends of Charlie when we were actually traitors. We were actually, pressuring him and blackmailing him behind the scenes. All of this comes back, of course, to Israel. You know, these theories are usually rooted in Israel and what the Jews are doing behind the scenes. And so, you know, it initiated at the start following this retreat that myself and a bunch of other conservative influencers, I put that in quotes because I don't consider myself an influencer. You know, I run a media company. I happen to have a large following online, but I'm not one of those people that's just like a social media influencer. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I don't consider myself an influencer. But I was invited by Charlie to this retreat. It was called an influencer retreat. And the idea of this retreat was focused on the problems, the threats to Western civilization. The theme of the retreat was, you know, saving the West. And, you know, Charlie, as you know, because you knew him very well. Man, it sucks to say that, doesn't it? To switch from saying you know him to you knew him. You know, Charlie was deeply concerned about threats to Western civilization, you know, from wherever they come, you know, whether they're coming from ideology on the left, you know, whether it's communism or, you know, Islam or whatever the threat may be. He wanted to talk about what these threats were, get a handle on where we all stood, have a conversation. We draw a bunch of people together and talk about a wide range of topics and get everybody's feedback and input. I think he was looking to influence our thinking with his positions, but also hear from us and understand, you know, where we were coming from and get our insights. He seemed very, you know, genuinely open in hearing from us and what we had to say. He kept, you know, he threw it to me several times when I was keeping my mouth shut during these meetings. He's like, you know, Seth, what do you have to say? You know, you've been quiet for a while. Chime in, say something. What do you think about this?
So you see, that's safe. And this is how Candace Owens accused him, because they went to this function and he was invited by Charlie Kirk. And Candace accused him of distressing Charlie Kirk and having something to do with it. So him and other people are actually receiving death threats. The guy was actually arrested by the FBI. And this guy, when they went to social media, the only person who is influential he follows is who? Is Candace Owens. And did Candace Owens accuse Seth Dillon, made some accusation? Yes. So this is not isolated things that are actually happening. And the other person also who was accused is none other than Frank Turek. Hey, watch this, guys.
Here, Seth, what if we were to say that, look, we're connecting the dots and we think that Candace had Charlie killed? Do you know why? Because she was mad that Charlie wasn't inviting her to the big events anymore. And she thought that with him out of the way, maybe she could even take over TPUSA, because early on, Charlie always used to talk in glowing terms of Candace, like she is the model of what we're trying to develop here. And I think Candace, we could say, we think Candace is investigating this so intently and casting suspicion on everyone else in order to cover her own tracks. Now, Seth, if we had said that, and we're not saying that, we would be completely out of line, because there is absolutely no evidence for that. And then if Candace began to get
but
death
to your
threats,
point earlier, it's possible.
Of course
it
it's
is
possible.
a possibility.
Yes.
But that's not enough.
No, it's not enough. And friends, listen to me. I'm not saying that at all. This is a thought experiment. Do not threaten Candace Owens. I don't think she had anything to do.
Wait for
There's
that
no
to
evidence
get
she had
clipped,
anything
Frank.
to do.
They'll clip off the first part of that where you say it's a thought experiment, and the last part where you reiterate that it's a thought experiment.
Yes, so obviously that is a thought experiment, right? But notice how easy that is. But these guys are so careful to actually put the warning, this is nothing, we're not accusing Candace Owens, this is just a thought experiment. Do you think Candace Owens is telling the audience it's just a thought experiment? She is actually just naming names and just accusing these people. So anybody can say that. So right now, just like, no, Candace, you are jealous that you haven't been invited to Turning Point USA. You're claiming you are Charlie Kirk's BFF. You were nowhere to be found in the later years of his life, in the pictures. You didn't go to his funeral. You didn't go to the memorial, but you're out here doing all these other things. So people can level all sorts of accusations, you know what I mean, without evidence, because she's not producing evidence. If Candace Owens can come up and say, person XYZ, this is the information, this is what they did, we're going to go there with you, Candace, okay? It wasn't Tara Robinson who it is. Let's go find out who this person is. That person should be brought to justice. So, and she claims to be a journalist. So this is not even how journalists actually do behave, guys, in any way, shape, or form. So this is what we have with this Candace Owens girl, okay? So right now, she's on to, let's watch a little bit, and then maybe let's just go to what the influencers are saying. So we already know she's accusing the influencers, okay? So one of the influencers is Ali Bestak. So this is what transpired, okay? The latest claim is that Turning Point USA must have been in on Charlie's murder because the UVU campus stop was approved in July, and that's too short of a timeline for an event in September. That's not true. Charlie texted me at the end of August for a campus event in early November. That's, let's see, Shomo. That's about 2 months out. And the reason he didn't specify which campus is because they didn't even know yet. He just knew it was going to be in Alabama. So yes, it does seem like part of this year's campus tour was being put together at the last minute. And UVU being booked over the summer isn't actually unusual. And, you know, and this is Friday, August 22. Charlie Kirk, hey, would love to have you join us on campus on November 3rd. Candace Owens, asking someone to join you on stage after the event has been established has absolutely nothing to do with anything. You are just completely wrong here, Ali. I know how these tour stops work. It takes a while for the students to even get the administrative approval. These things don't come together in 6 weeks. Full stop. Why is she doing that? Candace used to work with Turning Point back in the day. Are you telling me that nothing has changed at Turning Point USA since Candace Owens left? And don't forget, she left Turning Point, she went to PragerU, and she went to Daily Wire. And now she's independent. So all these years, Turning Point never changed their procedure, how they did things. Ali just spoke recently with Turning Point USA. So this idea of like Candace portraying herself that she knows more what's happening at Turning Point USA than anybody else is just false. Why is she clinging to this narrative? Because she has built something over this lie. So any horse against it, she's not going to like it because it's going to make her castle, whatever she's building, tumble down. So it's absolutely ridiculous. But before we go further to watch her, all right, let's see. Oh, from Georgia, the swing state of Georgia. Good to see you. Good to see you. Well, looks like MTG is changing her tune right now. Your congresswoman from there. Candace knew TPUSA lost donors. Charlie wants to tear down TPUSA because he jilted her. She wants to take over GFC. Yes, exactly. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Tracy, good to see you. Candace, she went away with 2 priests. Yes, yes, she's also doing the same thing. Like she travels with a priest, and she said the same things. Okay, she said the same thing. Soraya, good to see you. OMG, it's not her company. That's what we're saying. Whatever they're doing there, it's none of your business. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Okay. Being parodied at Candace, she plans all these ideas intentionally. Yes, but the problem is what she's doing. Not everybody, I'm on these streets, guys, okay? So I can see things, I know who said what and everything else. I can assess things and just like, okay, use my thinking caps on. Not most people are like that. People are waiting to tune in to hear what she has to say, and they're hanging to every word that she's saying. So she has this idea. she, what they're calling these guys, they're flooding the zone. So she floods the zone with the tons of information. So because you have all this overwhelming information, what is the conclusion? You know what? Something must be true. It's got to be true. So that's exactly what, because you have to be analyzing all these other things. Okay, there's some certain truth there of the things that she has said, but if we put it all together in totality, does she have a case? No, she doesn't. Does she have evidence? No, she doesn't. All she has is just accusations. So even if you saw that Mike McCoy was on the phone whatsoever, what does that conclude? It does not mean that he's the one who did something to Charlie. If there is something, how come Mike hasn't been arrested? In fact, the FBI went and investigated Frank Turek. So all the people who've been accused, there's people behind the scenes following through. They investigated him just to rule him out, because they know when they go to court, they're going to ask, so what about this person? The defense, they want to make sure they take care of their client. They'll be like, it wasn't my client who did this. What about this guy who was making signs? What about this guy who was running there with the phone call? You see what I'm saying? So all those people are going to be looked on, for sure. But Candace doesn't want to wait. She wants us to take her word. Whatever she's saying, we shouldn't question it. That's not what we do, okay? Truth is not afraid to be examined. But every time she's been debunked, they fly details. Now we have this situation just like, oh my gosh, Candace, stop it. So now we don't have anywhere else we can go, guys, because George Farmer doesn't watch this. Because I was hopeful that this Englishman, okay, he'll be like, no, this is not appropriate, darling, okay? But we're in trouble over here. So George Farmer won't be able to help us, guys, okay? So we are stuck with Lady Candace, okay? Here we go. But I'm glad that now Ali is just like, you know what? Let's just call this for what it is. Because before she was just talking, didn't want to bring it home. So we appreciate that. Brandon needs to bring it home. Like, you just have to call it for what it is, because this is dangerous, okay? But let's watch some more. Here we go, guys.
It's over. And nobody is talking about the green hoodie. Here he is, Colby Sessions. Hey guys, this is me. My teammate and I were just on campus to get food and stop by the event. We always wear silly stuff like that. Sorry guys, that's it. How easy, right? How easy. He's not like, I'm a victim, call a lawyer. I can't believe somebody asked a question. I can't believe there's interest in this event where an assassination took place. No, people are asking because they're well-meaning, and he just comes right back and answers it, and it's over. That's how easy, that's how quick, that's how painless it is when you simply tell the truth. And I just don't feel that anything that's been easy to clarify has been done. And it can't be because they're in a state of mourning, because they were like back.
Guys, what did the green guy in hoodie lie about? Did he have to come to prove himself to Candace Owens? No. He didn't do anything. He was at the campus doing whatever he was doing. You don't have to like how he dressed, but that doesn't make him a killer. So what is she talking about here, man? This is like, is this how we determine truth? Is this how we want people to behave in society? Like, you know what, I suspect you, so you need to prove yourself to me that you're not a suspect. That's not how it works. If the person who brings accusation, the onus is on that person to provide the evidence. She just glossed over the story about the Macrons. The Macrons are taking her to court. She wants the case to be dismissed. Candace Owens is moving a motion the case to be dismissed. If she believes her story, why does she want the case to be dismissed? The Macrons are saying no. They are the ones who are demanding a jury trial. She wants the case to be dismissed. So she knows. But her audience, do they know about this? No, they don't. They absolutely don't. Right now, she's home and dry with this Charlie Kirk situation. I'm like, you know what, Erika, you didn't come hard at this girl. Otherwise, she's just going to walk all over you.
Back on their feet the next day and giddy and sharing memories and talking about what happened on that day in detail. So, except for the parts that we want to know about. I don't know. Doesn't work for me. If you guys want to watch that interview in its entirety, you definitely should. It is available on Fox News Primetime, Jesse Waters. And that's what we're going to say about that. Take a brief break, and we're going to get into some Christian Zionist influencers. I've been speaking to you guys.
Okay, so now, nothing wrong for her to take care of her business, okay? So now she wants to lay the case about these Christian influencers. So I've just shown you the interaction that she had with Ali Bestaki, okay? And Ali put out even a video debunking her. So listen critically to this young lady, how she's about to set us all on fire. She's about to gaslight our own ears and eyes. Watch this.
With a little back forth that I had with Ali Beth Stuckey online. I'll start actually by saying some nice things about Ali Beth Stuckey, because one of the things that I am working on is being a lot more measured when I'm ticked off about something. And I realize that this particular subject is just, I just instantly want to go claws out. And there's a lot of great things about Ali Stuckey. I've actually worked with Ali Stuckey at various events. I've spoken with Ali Stuckey. She's been on my podcast multiple times. She's been a panelist back when I was on The Daily Wire. I'm referring to, she debated my husband before I was Catholic. They had a very good sit down, and she's always been very kind. She behind the scenes, I will always tell you guys, if there's tea, there actually isn't any on Ali Stuckey. She's always been a very lovely person. And especially because when I was first coming into the industry and people were dunking on me for all sorts of things, she actually like hosted me on her show and had a conversation rather than just kind of joining the choir. So yeah, I am not addressing this because Ali is a bad human being. I'm addressing this because she has been addressing me actually, subtly, subtweeting these sorts of things. And I feel like it's fair that when people engage in that sort of behavior that I get to respond. Somehow people are allowed to talk about me, and then when I respond, some people will suddenly be like, I stand with so-and-so. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm just answering someone. For me, this topic, Charlie Kirk, who murdered him, there isn't a single topic in politics that is happening on this planet that I care more about, okay? It is the killing of Charlie Kirk and nothing else for me. And in the aftermath of his assassination, people were downright nasty to me. You saw that. It was definitively not organic. It was this weird need to assert his legacy as a Christian Zionist. By the way, I'm not including Ali in the downright nasty category whatsoever. But she was one of the voices who cast unnecessary shade, I would say, on my account of him becoming Catholic curious. And it was unnecessary, I would say, only because she could have texted me. She has my number. This is one of the things that Matt Walsh recently said, that he views it as such a form of disloyalty when you have access to an individual, but you will instead go onto your platform to say something about that individual when you could ask for clarity, right? She could have messaged me and say, hey, I've never heard anything about Charlie being interested in Catholicism. And I would have said to her, hey, privately, yeah, he was going to mass sometimes daily. He was going on Sundays. He died with a pendant, but that didn't happen. Anyways, she's asserted that she's a friend of Charlie Kirk. She certainly has worked with Charlie Kirk for
Candace Owens is correct there, guys. Okay. If you are close to somebody else, like, just reach out to them. Don't rush to do things, whatever, public. I think it's not appropriate. So if you guys are cool, Ali should have just communicated with her, okay? So as far as now, when you go on a public square, okay, that way you'll be like, okay, I've addressed this with you in private, but I'm not seeing that you haven't changed and everything. I have responsibility to my audience. So I'm going to bring this up to my audience. I think that is fair and that is appropriate. What we are seeing right now, especially what Tatum is doing, is he's in the public. He's talked about everybody else, and he actually says he's not going to say anything about Candace Owens because Candace Owens, is his sister. Like, no, the issue is not Brandon to bash Candace Owens. The issue is like you are telling other people what they're saying is not true, but the person who's saying these things is none other than Candace Owens. So you can have a conversation with Candace Owens in private and be like, you know what? I'm bringing it to my audience. I have a responsibility. Brandon, that's not what he wants to do. He actually says he cannot even bring this up privately with Candace Owens, later on publicly. So it makes him look like double standard. He's out here calling out Tucker Carlson left and right. You cannot call out Candace Owens? So your allegiance is to your tribalism, is not to truth. And this is the civil war that's happening in the MAGA world because they operate with this idea, no enemies to the right. Okay? So they don't say anything to the people to the right. Just imagine, okay? If whatever, all these other things that Candace Owens has been doing, right? Imagine if this was, I can't think of anybody. Imagine if this was Jasmine Crockett, who was doing what Candace Owens is doing. Do you know the uproar that would have been out there? You see what I'm saying? So just like, when they have somebody in their own camp, they tiptoe around the person. They tiptoe around the person, but anybody else can see. If something is wrong, it is wrong, okay? Even right now, like I've shared with you guys, the Catholicism that's associated with Charlie Kirk and Erika Kirk is absolutely wrong. Either they are Catholic or they are evangelicals. They cannot have it both ways. Evangelicals don't want to address that issue. Why? Because they don't want to, hey, man, if Charlie Kirk is whatever is Catholic, that's not good for us. You know what I'm saying? So it's that idea, like, hey, we don't want to do this. No. We shouldn't be sweeping things under the rugs. It's just not a small thing. Erika Kirk used to be a Catholic, my understanding. She was a cradle Catholic. But with all these other things that I'm hearing, to be quite honest, I don't have confidence, guys, okay? Rob McCoy came out public and said Charlie wasn't going to church. He spent so much time on the road. So if people are spending so much time on the road, they're not going to church, what else is going on over there? And then this priest, all these other things, yeah. So we shouldn't sugarcoat that issue. You know what I mean? Like, no, if you're out here entertaining the Catholic, no. Charlie put out a public statement celebrating the Pope. Charlie was born in Chicago. The Pope is from Chicago. But what fellowship do we have celebrating about the Pope, the Roman Catholic? They are an apostate church. And the Pope who sits in the vicar of Christ, which is the heresy, by the way. Okay? So, no, there's no celebration in that regard. He was out here promoting the nah, which is wrong. So we're not naive that he was a perfect man, but even these other things, they're antithetical to biblical theology, so we shouldn't pretend those things didn't happen. So if Ali has a friendship with Candace Owens, which I'm sure they do, she could have easily communicated with Candace Owens. I think Candace, she's correct on that part. But she rushed to come out without telling her, I think that was wrong. Because she could have easily, Candace, this, I have responsibility to my audience. I'm going to bring this out, you know? Like, it removes this drama, and it shows the person's, like, just your integrity and everything, you know? Like, I have friends. I disagree with my friends, but I'm not going to come out here and do the videos about my friends. You know what I mean? Like, we sort out things out. And if it's something a bit like, you know what? I'm going to use you as an example on my video tonight, you know? So, take a watch. So, I hope you guys get what I'm saying. But let's hear from what Candace had to say here.
For years, all that is true. We are natural allies because we are committed to wanting there to be justice and genuinely are both upset by Charlie being no longer here, not seeing where Charlie was supposed to go in his life, having his life cut short in the most traumatic terms possible. But it feels to me that there are some people who only want to use their platforms to dispel something that I am saying that they think is untrue, even when I present proof that it is true. And an example of that is this morning. So yesterday, I said to you guys, as a person who worked at Turning Point USA, who toured with Charlie the most, okay? There's not a single person who can say, I headlined more Turning Point USA campus tours than Candace Owens. I know what I'm talking about, right? It's a very strange thing to not know what the inner workings are and to then accuse somebody who shows an email, as I did yesterday, that these events are booked the semester before, okay? There's a long waiting list. Everybody wants Charlie or Candace, whoever it is, Don Jr., to come to their campus, and they make those requests early. The Turning Point chapters, they have so many of them. And so they are constantly running behind on those requests, and it's a very long process because the administrations at these campuses naturally hate Turning Point USA in particular because Charlie started the organization to disrupt college campuses. So they give these kids a very hard time over everything. When I tell you a hard time, when Charlie and I were speaking at Stanford, the student who put the event together, her grandfather owned one of the buildings at Stanford. Like, her name was on one of the buildings at Stanford University, and they still gave her a hard time pulling this event together, right? It doesn't matter. It's more the sentiment of who you are as a political person and as a political organization, and they will try to stop you. And that is why it is strange, as in it has never happened while I toured for 9 semesters, 2019 summer, 8 semesters with Charlie, like in a row. It's never happened that a college makes a request over the summer when school is closed, because it was, okay, at the end of July, school was not in session, and then it gets honored by Turning Point USA immediately, and then it's on the calendar. Could you imagine the university getting that email? They already hate Charlie Kirk, and they're going to honor it and be like, not only do we want to honor this, we'll give you the first week back to school. Like, that's what they're telling us, and it doesn't make any sense, and I pointed that out, and I showed proof of that. What are you disagreeing with actually? Like, when you jump into this, what is motivating your disagreement would be my question. I will read her tweets and then I will respond to them. So she does a total false debunking by sharing a private message exchange between her and Charlie. This is what she tweeted. She said, the latest claim is that TPUSA must have been in on Charlie's murder because the UVU campus stop was approved in July. It was not approved in July. It was requested in July. And that's too short of a timeline for an event in September. That is not true. Charlie texted me at the end of August for a campus event in early November. That's about 2 months out. And the reason he didn't specify which campus is because he didn't even know yet. He just knew it was going to be in Alabama. So yes, it does seem like part of this year's campus tour was being put together at the last minute, and UVU being booked over the summer isn't actually unusual. No, hey, would love to have you join us on campus on November 3rd. What does this prove? It proves that Charlie invited her to join him on campus on November 3rd. If he is giving you multiple locations, and I'm telling you this as someone who I worked for this organization, Allie, okay? It's probably because these are this is already approved. They're doing these campuses already. He's asking you which one to choose. Many times these students will be told to hold 2 dates that can possibly work. And they're going to get back to them and confirm and see who's available. They did not start planning that event when Charlie texted you. I can guarantee you that, okay? They did not receive a request from those campuses on that day. It's an absurdity. I don't even know what we're debating. She then follows it up and she says this, so, since some of you guys are struggling, because people pointed out that's not what Candace said. It's a request that went from UVU chapter to Turning Point USA. She says, since some of you guys are struggling, no venue yet, 2 months out. There's clearly a venue because Charlie is saying in this chat, November 3rd at, Mikey McCoy actually, November 3rd at 6:30 p.m. Either Auburn, which has 5,000 seats, or the University of Southern Alabama. Now, I told you that Charlie and I would divide and conquer. So there'd be multiple events going on at the same day. Charlie would headline one, I would headline the other. I will guarantee you, and I checked, they did both of these this semester because that's how it works, okay? He's asking you which one you want to join. They might both be holding the auditoriums that they need to, but this was not being planned when they messaged you. They didn't receive the request the day that they messaged you and say, hey, do you want to make this happen? I don't know what we're doing here. I don't know what the nature of this is.
Okay, so if you're confused, don't be confused. What's going on over here? Candace Owens is on this quest that the UVU program, the trip that Charlie went to UVU, happened so quick and so fast. So because it happened so quick, so fast, there's gotta be something there. There's something fishy going on. So what Ali is showing to Candace Owens, she's saying, Candace, some of these issues, yes, happen so quick, so fast. According to Candace Owens, those things should have been planned 6 months out. Okay? When she was there, they were planned 6 months out, a year out. So what Ali is saying, I was put on the schedule to do all these things. I was told about it within 2 months. Okay? So the argument, the people are saying like, okay, they were able to schedule things within 2 months. Candace just like, no, that is impossible to schedule an event at the campus within 2 months. That would have been done within 6 months. So the issue, the argument here is the time. Why is that so important? It is so important to Candace Owens because in her mind, if the schedule of UVU happened within 2 months, there was something fishy going on there. Why? The premises, stuff is supposed to take a year, stuff is supposed to take 6 months. So let's grant to Candace Owens, okay? Like, okay, stuff is supposed to take 6 months. And for some reason, UVU, it took 2 months. Does that mean that UVU Turning Point chapter killed Charlie Kirk? You see what I'm saying? So even if you grant what she is implying, what does that imply? She accused the Nebraska, the airplane, that has been debunked. I've just shown you guys the letter. Ali is being asked choose between to go to this university within 2 months. Candace Owens used to work there in 2019, guys. Where are we right now? We are in 2025. Are you telling me when she was there, nothing has changed at Turning Point USA? Everything is the same when Candace Owens was there? So they might have things that have changed. Okay? 2019 is not 2025. Right now, it's just like, okay, even the memorial, right? People were saying the same thing, like, you know what? To do that event, Charlie Kirk's memorial event at that arena, that was pretty much impossible. Why? Because events are booked in advance. But guess what? They had the White House, okay? The White House called the other people there. They had connections, and the event took place. Charlie Kirk was well connected, okay? So how does Candace know that if they were not able to pull something 2 months, all it takes is a phone call? It's in Utah, okay? It's as red as it can be. They wanted him there. You see what I'm saying? So even if something takes 6 months, because it's Charlie Kirk, he's able to make a phone call. He knows people in higher places. They're able to get him at these campuses within a short record of time. Has she considered that as a possibility? Has she considered that as a possibility? Things happen, you guys know. If people know people, you know what I mean? They make things happen. So I don't understand why she wants to die on this hill. Even if it's 6 months, even if it's 2 months, it still does not conclude that is the reason why it happened to Charlie Kirk. This lady is out here accusing Turning Point USA, Mike McCoy, Tyler Boyer, Stephen Covey. So these people already work with Charlie Kirk. They know what he likes, what he doesn't like. They work in there. So why would they want, if they wanted to do this to Charlie Kirk, why would they want to do it in Utah? Why can't they just do it in their offices? I mean, set Turning Point on fire or something. Or put some poison in his food or something. You know? Like, haven't you guys watched movies? So, but anyway, what are you guys saying so far? Because this is, it's like she's going somewhere, but there's nothing. Okay, nothing bagger here. So this is with, my job. Yes, this girl, she needs to find out. So this is how I present. Let's not forget. Candace Owens, she's a married woman fighting for someone else's husband. Okay? This is none of your business. But let's hear a little bit more.
Then you get Lila Rose, who jumps in for no reason at all, other than the fact that she's a committed Christian Zionist. And she says something that's so far off the mark. At least Allie's showing something relevant to Turning Point USA, even though she maybe didn't watch what I said or she's confused about what the conversation was. It's well-meaning, okay? Lila Rose just comes out of left field with like, we're talking about apples and here's an orange. I speak regularly on college campuses as well. She starts with, this is not true. This is not true. What is not true? I showed the email. What is not true? I speak regularly at college campuses as well. As one example, I was just asked to speak at Stanford and they were going to set the event up within 3 weeks. Oh, it didn't happen. It didn't materialize. They asked you to speak. What's the context? How many students? And then she goes on and she gives an example. When I debated a few weeks ago at Yale, the event was also planned within 2 months. Okay, so this is what happens when the chief debater, Charlie Kirk, is murdered. We're left with this, the people who can't think through the apples and the oranges. Lila, I am sure that if Taylor Swift tweets that it took her team a year to put together her tour, I'm not going to respond and be like, this is not true. I toured Taylor Swift at campus events, and we were able to pull the event together in 6 months. Apples, oranges. So that Yale event that Lila Rose spoke at was with the Yale Political Union. So it's existed since 1934. It runs like a well-oiled machine. I've spoken at the Oxford Union. They speak in the same place at the same time. They change the people that are speaking. You sit down with them. You have a dinner. This is Oxford again, not Yale. I've not spoken at Yale. You have a dinner and you debate somebody. Okay, it's a debate union. It's what they do and what they've been doing since 1934. Lila had, and here's a picture of it. She's comparing this 70 people that attended this debate to Turning Point USA hosting a debate with thousands of people, sometimes a vice president, sometimes a president. Like, what are you debating? What are you actually, like, when you pause and you think through, what are you debating me on? If you are going to dispute me, simply show me the information of somebody making a request and having it instantly be honored at Turning Point USA, which runs like a machine, absolutely. But these events are big, okay? Ambulances are required. The university has to tell you, okay, well, if you've got 1,500 people, then this is the state law. They have to confirm they're available. This is the insurance that has to be, blah, 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 blah. Not the same thing, Lila, when you are debating an older woman regarding abortion in a political union, okay? It's just not the same. So again, I ask, what is their investment that they are coming undone about me telling the truth? Because now I have to take the time and be Queen Petty and go through every single year dating back to 2018 to tell you when they got the events together, because I can do that. I can do every semester from 2018 until 2024. What's the point here? I'm going to do it.
Okay, even if you do it or don't do it, guys, Candace, she thinks that she's dropping the mic here, but she's not. If Candace Owens' premise is, in order for Turning Point USA to have an event at any campus, it takes them 6 months. That's her premise. So, okay, Candace, if Charlie Kirk had an event at Turning Point at UVU, guess what? It took 6 months. So if that's how they operate, Charlie Kirk just didn't drop out of nowhere at UVU. It was planned, and then they were there. So you're right, Candace. It took 6 months to plan the event at UVU. And guess what? That even undercuts your point. Because your point is Charlie Kirk was not supposed to be at UVU. If Charlie Kirk was not supposed to be at UVU, what was he doing there? If it is so impossible to pull an event within 2 months, according to her, that can never be done. It's impossible. All right, Candace, you're right. So how did it happen that Charlie Kirk was at UVU? You only have two things. Either it was planned 6 months in advance, or they did plan it within 2 months and it was not an issue. So if you grant that, those two ladies have just shown you an example, okay? Lida showed like, okay, I was able to go to Yale to do this event and it was planned 2 months. Okay, fine. Yeah, well established, different from these other campuses, but the premise at least shows it is possible to schedule an event at a college campus within 2 months. So even if you go to the Turning Point USA, if they do it in 6 months, then it was already planned 6 months prior, Charlie Kirk showing up at the campus. If it was impossible for Charlie Kirk to show up at the campus within 2 months, the question is, how come he was there? Why was the event there? So she needs to be the one proving this issue. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, for some reason, Charlie Kirk just happened to be there. No permit, no nothing, none of these other things. Now, she can bring up the issue like, okay, at the campuses, they're supposed to be having an ambulance on site, but there was no ambulance on site when Charlie Kirk was there. That's fair. If they're supposed to have an ambulance and the ambulance was nowhere to be found that day, that's an issue. You see what I'm saying? Because there was no ambulance. They're supposed to have an ambulance every time they have an event. Good. So could it be that they were supposed to plan 6 months, but they ended up doing it so fast within 2 months? As a result, the things that were supposed to be in place, they were not in place because the issue was organized too quick and too fast. You see what I'm saying? So that can be a lesson from there. You know what? Let's not rush to do these events. Or every time we do events, let's make sure certain things are in place. So she can have a case there, but I don't think she's going the right direction about it. Okay? So let's watch her.
Savannah, I'm sorry, we have to do this. But what's the point of disputing something and saying something is not true when I just told you it's true and I showed you evidence that it's true? You're not even saying, you're just lying, actually, at that point. You're being extremely dishonest, at the very least, to make a video and say he's not becoming Catholic. He was a committed evangelical. Say, I don't know. Just say, I don't know. Why are you making these videos? I actually do know, and I'm sharing information that I know because we deserve answers when there are strange anomalies. Now, is it possible that...
You see what I told you about the Catholic thing? Candace Owens is going to use this as a way to dunk on people of being dishonest, of lying. They're trying to skate around it. They're ignoring it. They're avoiding it. But at every turn, it had nothing to do with her bringing up the Catholic thing. She's just going to be bringing it up. So now, because they're taking too long to respond, by the time they come up like, oh, let's just confirm about this Catholic thing, you know what Candace will be like? You see, I was telling you about the Catholic thing. You people, you were ignoring. You didn't want to believe me. Now they've come out. You see what I'm saying? If something is true, don't hide it. Bring it out. Truth hurts. But you either do it out, otherwise you'll be forced to suppress that issue, and then people will be like, okay, what are you hiding? So this is the problem. Like, that's how you deal with somebody like Candace Owens. Those guys in Nebraska, they just put out a letter. They debunked her, okay? She acted like she didn't see. That young man, I don't know why he was posting those pictures, okay? It came out, okay, it wasn't me. But that wasn't even safe. You see what I mean? Other people, Seth Dillon called the police. The guy has been arrested. Do you think Candace Owens is going to tell the audience, oh, by the way, there was a young man who was threatening Seth Dillon because of what I said about Seth Dillon. Now the young man has been arrested. No, she's not going to tell her audience about that. So here she's on the quest of Turning Point.
That somebody knew somebody and made a phone call and made it happen. Yeah. But we, the public around the world who don't trust what we are being told, would like to know who that somebody was that made that event come together very quickly, faster than I've ever seen an event come together, given how universities act with hostility toward conservative groups that host a lot of people, which is what Charlie was, who Charlie was as a person. He was somebody.
This woman is a liar, okay?
All lies will be exposed. That's all.
You know why? If she has an issue of an event being put too quickly, too fast, how come she doesn't have an issue with Charlie Kirk's memorial? That was absolutely put together too quick. Because in order for them to get that venue, you have to book it in years in advance. But that happened on that day. I don't see her tripping over that issue. How come she's not tripping over the memorial? Like, how did they manage to book this venue? You see what I'm saying? It pays when people have people in high places. So what? If they wanted to go to UVU and somebody put a favor from them, what's wrong with that? Does that mean, I'm like, kind of stop it, okay? Charlie went to UVU because that's where he wanted to go. If Charlie Kirk did not want to go to UVU, he could not have gone there. Simple and straightforward. Stop creating things that are just not
somebody that was met with hostility by administrations when he went there, okay? Because it meant there were going to be protests. They will burn you in effigy as they did to Michael Knowles at a Turning Point USA event. So there has to be certain parameters that are set to allow these particular events to happen. But I appreciate you sharing your experience. And the next time Taylor Swift tweets about her experience, I'm going to just be like, not true. Not true. Taylor Swift is like, I can't walk into the mall. I'm like, me neither. That's not true. I walked in, no fans ran up at me, Taylor Swift. So obviously Taylor Swift's lying because it didn't happen to me. It doesn't, as Justin Bieber says, it's not clocking for us, man. Anyways, it is weird to me also that when you look at what they focus on, it seems so petty, but then they look over all of the glaringly obvious lies that were being told about this investigation. Like they're not making videos going, oh, hey, yeah, spoke to like 10 hunters and a 30-06 should have decapitated him. They don't care about any of that stuff. So are you doing this because you care about Charlie? Are you doing this because you care about the investigation? Because if you're going to investigate. Okay. Send me a text message and ask me a specific question and say, where'd you get this information from? Join the team of people online who I never knew before this, who are investigating this murder and using sources. Do that. Either join us or get out of our way is what I would say. Because if you're not going to make a video, or you are going to make a video about a glaring obvious hole and then just poo-poo it, which is kind of what Allie did regarding the Fed Discord messages. I watched a clip. She like softens it and says, well, even if these are written by the feds, I still think he was murdered by Tyler Robinson. Okay, so you're willing to give grace to the feds when they're maybe lying, but you can't assume that I'm telling the truth about my experience having worked with an organization and the actual evidence that I have to back up what I'm saying. You have no grace on the matter of whether or not he might have been getting curious about Catholicism. Is the goal to tell the truth? Okay. Why aren't you guys doing shows? If you're so interested in debunking lies, have you done a show about Josh Hammer? When we drop a text messages, did you do a show and go, wow, Josh Hammer really lied about Charlie Kirk's mindset? Because it's starting to feel a little bit like propaganda. And it's the worst type of propaganda to me when you cage it as like Christians shouldn't or Christians should. I'm investigating this. I care about it. And it is my perspective that if you're in my way, I'm just going to breathe fire and expose the truth. When I say breathe fire, it just means showing the truth, showing more truth. I'm going to pull up, like I said, every email so that there is no debate or dispute about how long it takes for these events to go together. Okay. Yeah, that's that. I don't love the crickets of these things. Also, I will also mention that Allie has strangely hired Alyssa Cordova, and this is just not a match for me. Alyssa Cordova was formerly the head PR person at Daily Wire. And when I tell you that this woman is evil, it's hard to put into words the things that she has put people through, and she does it for the sport of it. Like she's one of these people that keeps a...
Okay, so the question asked Candace. She had an issue with Ali Bestake as far as the text is concerned, right? About Turning Point USA. So why is Candace Owens bringing out about somebody else? What does that person got to do with what's happening right now? I can understand Leila Rose responded to you. Ali Bestake responded to you. But this third woman you are introducing to this issue, what does she got to do with anything else? You see what I'm saying? Like, so now, just like, we can see you, Candace, okay? But let's see how evil this woman is, according to Candace.
Folder on her desk, and she intentionally has out-of-context clips, which she then sends to people, a whole little orbit of bees online, like Ian Miles Chong, who's like a despicable human being, and says, like, attack this person. And she'll do this, by the way, even if you're working with her. Like, she will undercut you and do these sorts of things. And so when I see this kind of turn and I see that Alyssa Cordova is working with you, I'm wondering if this is just kind of like Zionist nastiness. I think I've been extremely gracious to the different perspectives that we have. If we are all committed to truth, we are obviously able to debate. And I'm happy, by the way, I'll add this as well, to have Allie or Lila Rose on this show tomorrow, if you guys would like to debate what I have presented thus far, in addition to me telling you how Turning Point USA operates their events. I'm happy to do that and bring the evidence of what I'm saying. That always stands open.
Ali, please take her up on that offer. I want to see this debate, okay? I want to see this debate. She has put a request over there. You guys need to accept this challenge and do this debate with Candace.
When you will have a platform, if you are committed to truth, my platform is your platform. Now, speaking of PR and people who should maybe get into it, Alex Clark needs a raise. I don't even know what she's doing over at Turning Point USA. This gets back into, Erika Kirk as a CEO. We watched her lie, okay? We watched her lie about the Catholic thing. We're supposed.
You see, that's it. Like what, 6th time? Candace Owens has mentioned the Catholic thing. She's seeing this as a winning thing. And to be quite honest, if I was her, I'll do the same thing too. You know what I mean? Be like, okay, I'm going to bring this Catholic thing, because you guys want to skate around it. Okay. She's going to use that for as long as she can. So Alex Clark was already working for Turning Point USA when Charlie Kirk was here. For some reason, like all the people she's mentioning, these are key employees of Turning Point USA. And all of them, she has issues with them. So Ali Bestake, we're going to get back to the Alex Clark situation. But Ali has put out a video, okay? So this is what she's saying in the video that Ali has put out, okay? Oh my goodness, we have so much stuff, guys. Okay, bear with me. What happened to my Ali video? Okay, there it is. Okay, so this is Ali, okay? So take a look at this, guys, okay? No, this. All right. So, but this is Ali, okay? Then she did a video, but we can take a look at the text. Confirmed you will only be with Charlie in Auburn, still waiting on the other questions before booking your travel. Questions about what? I'm sure about this campus tour. This was for a campus stop on March 31st. We had almost no info about exact location, timing, or topic. Event went great though. In my experience, last-minute planning is very normal for Turning Point. Not a criticism, it's just how these things can go, especially when working with college students. Candace Owens was there in 2019, okay? Things have changed at Turning Point USA. This lady doesn't want even to acknowledge that. She still thinks things are still running the way they used to run when she was there. Trying to poke holes like, okay, these people should be fired. Erika should hire Candace Owens, okay? Since some of you aren't reading what I said, venue not booked 2 months out. UVU scheduling wasn't an anomaly. Hey, would love to join you on campus 11-3, okay? So there is Candace Owens, Ali just proving that, you know, she has done events with Turning Point USA where the events were not booked 6 months in advance. So the fact that UVU took place in 2 months was not the first time. I'm sure other events are booked 6 months, a year in advance, but having an event booked 2 months was not out of ordinary. Candace Owens is claiming that has never happened. It's extraordinary. The Ali and them are telling Candace Owens, no, Candace, it's not extraordinary. I have done events with Turning Point USA recently better than you have. So there you have it, Ali and Candace. Okay, but have you seen the video of Mike McCoy? Yes, he immediately grabs his phone. Erika said on Fox that Mike called her immediately. And oh, notice, how come Candace did not play the clip where Erika Kirk is confirming on Fox News that she received a phone call from Mike McCoy? You see how slick Candace Owens is? Because she knows, she has already told her audience that Mike McCoy is a suspect. Mike McCoy was on the phone. Who was he talking to? Erika just confirmed that I was on the phone with Mike McCoy. Candace did not want her audience to see that. Why? It debunks her theory. You see where this is going? So here is Ari saying this. Yes, he immediately grabs his phone. Erika said on Fox that Mikey called her immediately and said, Charles been shot. Get the kids, get security. Are you calling Erika a liar? Looks to me like Mikey took action and did what immediately needed to be done. My guess is, I have no secret info, that they all had an exact plan in place in case of an emergency, and Mikey did exactly what he was supposed to do. You see? Okay, and then remember, this is interesting. Guys, are you watching this? Candace Owens has also accused this Mikey that is a successor. And yet we already know Erika Kirk is in charge of Turning Point USA. For some reason, Candace has it for this young man. Because she can see that, you know what, if this young man is there, one day he's going to be the beneficiary of this Turning Point USA. Let me make sure I get him out of the way, including his dad. Notice this. Mikey wanted to be, quote unquote, Mike wanted to be Charlie Kirk's successor. This is what Candace Owens has said. Okay? Wow, that is a huge claim. Someone closest to Charlie is secretly happy about his murder, so he can take his place? Question mark. Surely there is well-sourced clear evidence of this, because we wouldn't want to be degrading a man's character by implicating him in a murder plot based only on assumptions, right? Because that would be deeply evil. Yes, Candace Owens has not produced a single evidence that Mikey was to take over Turning Point. All she has produced was Mike was on the phone the day that Charlie Kirk, that happened to Charlie Kirk. You see what I'm saying? So where is the evidence, Candace Owens? None whatsoever. This is interesting. If that's true, why isn't Mikey speaking at these campus stops? Why isn't he hosting Charlie Kirk's show? Exactly. Okay. Why isn't he his name on Turning Point? Exactly. Fundraising emails. Where do we see him stepping into Charlie's space? Yeah. Fundraising emails have what? Erika Kirk's name on it. Okay. All these other people who've been invited to go speak Turning Point USA, J.D. Vance, Ali Bestake, Tucker Carlson, Ben Shapiro, Mike O'Neill, it wasn't Mikey. And the question is, how come Candace Owens is not accusing those people? Why Mikey? Why Mike? Why not anybody else? And by the way, Candace Owens, if this woman is the BFF of Charlie Kirk, how come she's not being invited to any of these events, guys? She has not been invited to any of these events. The question is why? So you can see whatever she's up to is up to no good. So Ali took it to put a video out here. So take a listen to what she put out, okay? Watch this, guys. Here we go.
Truly tired of some of y'all not thinking. I really am. You say that you're seeking truth and asking questions, but you're actually just outsourcing your critical thinking and your question asking to someone else, and you're never really asking questions. You're never saying, does that make sense? Or what could be the other side of that story? Or what is the alternative explanation for that? Or are these two things actually connected by evidence? Or does it just sound compelling? This is not a Netflix series. It's not an Agatha Christie novel. You're not watching a whodunit movie. These are people's real lives. And if you were implicating a real person in a murder plot, you better be 100% sure that it is true and backed by hard evidence. Think. Turn on your brain. The thoughts we think and the words we say not only affect real people's lives, but they carry weight in eternity. We are responsible for these things. I'm going to take that seriously, but you should too. Look, y'all, I don't even want... I've just been wrestling with this so much over the past few weeks. I don't want the drama. I don't have the time and energy that it takes to go through. To make all of these claims first is incredible, but then to go through and debunk all of these claims, I don't have that time. I don't have that energy. I don't have that capacity. I don't. And I don't want the danger that comes with it. And I'm sorry if that makes me sound cowardly. I really am. I don't want to be involved in it, but gosh, it bothers me. Like, the truth really matters. And I know that you guys want clarity, and a lot of you are confused, and you've been asking me for clarity. And it's just tough. It is a tough predicament to be in. And so just pray for me. Pray for wisdom and strength and courage and protection and all of that, because it sucks. You know, it really is just a bummer that, and it makes so much sense spiritually with just the nature of spiritual warfare, that post-Charlie, there was so much unity, so much excitement, so much resurgence in faith, newfound interest in faith, and that now there is discord, so many distractions, and that is just like Satan, who comes to steal, kill, and destroy. He is called the great accuser. He is the sower of discord, the author of confusion. And so it all just makes sense. And yes, Christians should be seeking truth based on evidence, never innuendo, never implication. But also, let us not forget to focus on the cross of Christ, to share the gospel, to be discipling those people who have been going to church for the first time, to minister to their hearts, to reach out to them. Let us not forget that God's eternal plan of redemption is always going off without a hitch, and believers are a part of that. So don't forget your role there.
There you have it, Charlie. There you have it, Ali Bestake. Okay, you can see she's frustrated. Ali. So thank you, Ali, for saying that. We welcome that. But this is the problem, guys, okay? These people, okay? Ali Bestake is also this idea of wanting to be involved in a big tent. It doesn't work. It absolutely does not work. I'm not saying that he shouldn't be friends with Candace Owens. No. Ali Bestake had Candace Owens on her show with her husband out there promoting the Catholicism and everything else. It didn't even go well for Ali. And you thought she learned her lesson? No. Apart from Lyda Rose. And you thought she learned her lesson? No. Apart from Mike O'Neill. So when all these other people, this is how Candace Owens is behaving, well, this is what happens. Okay. So you need to, like, you can have friends. Not all your friends are supposed to be on your platform, guys. I have friends. They can never be on my show. They will never be on my show. Okay? I don't want to send that confusion. It's not necessary. But these people think that they can just do whatever else they want to do. There are no implications. That's not how it works, guys. Things don't work like that. You don't even have to do anything. You don't have to say anything. But these are the things that actually happen. Right now, Ali is on a flyer. Let me find this so you can see. Board for what is that? Board 2026, okay? We're gonna do a different video on this issue. Be bold for Jesus 2026. Be bold for Jesus 2026, okay? Anyway, I've wandered away here, but I want you guys to see what I'm trying to say here. All right, wait a minute. How am I doing this? Okay, bear with me here. Here it is, okay? So if you can see, this is Be Bold for Jesus Conference 2026, okay? And what do you have over here? Ali Beth Stack. And who do you have over here? Dallas Jenkins. Who is Dallas Jenkins? This is the guy behind The Chosen. He's a Mormon. So when you say be bold for Jesus, which Jesus? I know the Jesus Ali Beth Stack is talking about. I know the Jesus Jenkins is talking about same terminology, but it's not the same Jesus. So, but the audience, they're going to go here. Are they going to be able to understand, to make a distinction that the Jesus of Ali Beth Stack is not the Jesus of Dallas Jenkins? And if that is not all, Lecrae is right here. How compromised is Lecrae? Huh? How compromised is Lecrae? There is Crystal here, Crystal Hayes. This is Tony Evans' daughter. Tony Evans, the disqualified pastor. None of his children are able to tell him to step down. He's been restored without full repentance. So, like, I just like, this is crazy. We are going to cover this later on, okay? But that's the point that I'm trying to portray to you guys. So, if Ali, you want to be out here, yes, I welcome it. Candace Owens, this is what he's doing. But you're out here on stage, you're going to be on stage with Dallas Jenkins, because if they put you on fly, I take it you've accepted the invitation. You see what I'm saying? So this is the problem. So when these people are coming out, they are saying these evangelicals, the big tent, this, that, and the third. This is the problem, okay? So we just have to face it. So yeah, she did a program, talk about the conspiracies on her program, okay? It was actually good. I agree with it. You know what she didn't do? She never mentioned the name Candace Owens. When you watch it, you could see that she's actually talking about Candace Owens. So, but because these people have happened to be your friends, so much so they're even undermining you that you cannot even utter their name. You can never do anything. Then what is the point? What is the point? So it's very unfortunate, but that's good that it has come to that. So trust and believe it. The next video coming out of Candace is going to be featuring them. So the other thing that you case you haven't noticed, right? Candace Owens has accused everybody outright. She has accused Erika Kirk, but not directly. But she'll be like, oh, Turning Point USA is covering up. But we know by implication, Erika Kirk is being implicated, right? And the other person who has noticed that thing, if you can guess it, Nick Fuentes. Watch this, okay? We do not endorse Nick Fuentes. But as they say, broken clock is correct twice in a day, okay? Take a look at this.
I've said it before. I think we need to learn more about who Erika Kirk is. It's interesting that Candace Owens won't touch her. Why is that? Candace Owens is going to, think about the logic here. Candace Owens is looking for every member of the crowd who flinched or picked up their phone, but she won't talk about the new president of Turning Point. Charlie Kirk dies. His wife becomes the president of Turning Point USA. No scrutiny? She's looking into Tyler Boyer. She's looking into Andrew Kolvich. She's looking into every member of the audience, the guy that asked the last question, the guy that picked up his phone, the security team, the military plane, the Dairy Queen, Tyler Robinson, the boyfriend. Not looking at the wife. Why not? People are starting to ask questions. I'm not going to do it because I don't believe there's a conspiracy, really. I think that Erika Kirk was probably someone that was set up for Charlie to marry. I think that's very common in politics. I think it was something like an arranged marriage, which is not necessarily sinister, but in these elite circles, that's how they move. And it only makes sense if you're a powerful, ambitious political person, you're maybe not going to be hitting up a girl at a bar or on Tinder or something. So I think she comes from some kind of elite family with connections, and it was a political marriage. It doesn't necessarily mean she had anything. Like, I don't think she's involved in a conspiracy, to tell you the truth. But I wonder why Candace won't investigate. She's going to leave no stone unturned except for that one. No stone unturned except for Erika Kirk. Why won't she talk about her? Why is that? What's going on there? Candace is going to talk about every other person involved except for, well, actually two people, J.D. Vance and Erika Kirk. She won't talk about J.D. Vance. She won't talk about Erika Kirk. Why is that? Everybody else is fair game. Everybody else, even the kid that asked the question. She's posting screen grabs from the live stream. Who is this person? Who's that guy? Who's the student? Who is up here? Who is down there? What's their name? I want to interrogate them. I want their phone. But not the new president of Turning Point? You're going to talk about Cui Bono, but not her? It's a little interesting. Why won't you go there? It's weird.
You see? Yes. So when I heard that, I'm like, you know what? You are correct. Everybody else has been implicated in this investigation. But, you know, I guess even for Candace knows, you know what? Let me not mention Erika Kirk's name. But usually, if you watch the movies, if something happens to a husband die, who is the first person the police go to? It's actually to the spouse. That's where they start to investigate. You know what I'm saying? But she's out here accusing all other people who have nothing to do with Turning Point. And some of them actually work for Turning Point. But the only person who stands to benefit from Charlie Kirk is the next of kin. And who is the next of kin? Is Erika Kirk. But Candace Owens hasn't mentioned anything. I don't believe that, whatever she's doing out here, right, is wrong. You know what I'm saying? Even Erika, it's wrong. What Candace Owens is actually wrong. But my point is, if she was actually honest about what she's doing, usually whenever they're doing this investigation, the most person to stand to benefit from Turning Point is the first person they start to investigate. And who is that person? Is Erika Kirk. But here, she's able to connect everybody else to Charlie Kirk. Oh, it's the Jews, okay? The Jews, the Egyptians, Trump, okay? It was Trump, the FBI, military, Mike McCoy. It's just like, Candace, please stop. Okay? So it's just like, no, how does this benefit Mike McCoy? It doesn't. But the only one, you're right, nothing, she didn't say anything about Erika. Okay, so that tells me, like, you're not actually serious about this thing. How come you're not ruling out the spouse? You didn't say anything about the spouse. So she knows, even whatever she's doing, it's not real. Because if it was real, she would have gone there. But she hasn't. So she knows, like, okay, you're just here playing game. Because she knows, like, okay, the day she out as Erika Kirk, implicating her is not good. But she has found a way to implicate her, in, not straightforward, but just, like behind the scenes, okay? So this is as close as Candace has come to implicate the entire Turning Point. Take a look at this. Here we go.
Stages, you've accepted that this person is not coming back, and then you just want to punch people in the face for lying about everything. I'm there. Everything they are telling us is crazy town, okay? I wake up and I learn something new, and I get angry. I'm so angry, I'm taking it out on the team. I'm like, no! This does not make any sense. I can't explain to you why it doesn't make sense because I went through Turning Point USA, but every little micro change is sending me in this moment. It's a very personal thing. I know how Turning Point operates their events, things that the world does not know. I have been privy to. And that's why I said, you know what, let's actually scour through my emails. I was like, Savannah, let's just go back so that we can share these things with the world, that you guys can join me in my frustration of wanting to punch somebody, anybody in the face, okay? So yesterday, we had mentioned to you that the timeline is absolutely absurd, okay? The absolute absurdity of Turning Point, as we learned, having received a request from Charlie, from UVU, for Charlie to speak on their campus in mid-July. Okay, just a few weeks before he dies, in mid-July, they get a request. Can Charlie speak on campus? And then they immediately approve that request and they schedule it as his first stop some 6 weeks later. That has never happened in the history of my having done campus tours, okay? This was a tour stop. And you literally get these requests months before you start sorting through them. I mean, I'm going to show you the real proof so that you can grasp how atypical the setup is, okay? Charlie and I went on tour in April of 2024 together. We actually also split doing certain locations because they want to do as many locations all over the United States as possible. And April of 2024 is when our campus events began. I'm now going to show you an email of when we started planning that, okay? So keep in mind the back.
Okay, so we've already covered, right? We've already, Ali showed us she was able to get on, do a campus tour within 2 months. So it was not out of extraordinary, but she's hinging on that issue as, something is not right within Turning Point USA. So, man, I don't know what we're going to do with Candace Owens. But the question is has Candace Owens seen the video of his friends, okay, what's his name? Kanye West with the rabbis. I'm sure this is going to send Candace Owens. I don't know if she's seen this, okay? So this is, I don't understand. I don't know what's happening here, but I'm going to show it to you guys, okay? But this is Kanye speaking to the rabbi. Apparently, he was apologizing. I don't know what has happened. So let's just watch.
I was dealing with some various issues, dealing with bipolar also. So it would take the ideas I had and have me take them to an extreme where I would forget about the protection of the people around me and myself. So I wanted to come and take accountability. Sometimes people aren't that knowledgeable about the bipolar and the cause or what causes it and the way you act when you have this disease. So it's like if you left the house and you left your kid at the house and your kid went and messed up the kitchen and messed up the garage, messed up the living room. Now when you get back, it's your responsibility because that's your child. And that's the way I look at it. It's like I gotta go clean up the kitchen, I gotta clean up the living room, I gotta clean up the garage. Yeah, and it's a big deal for me as a man to come and take accountability for all the things that I've said. And I really just appreciate you embracing me with open arms and allowing me to make amends. And this is the beginning and the first steps and the first brick by brick to build back the strong walls.
Say in Yandut, the rabbi said the Judaism, the Judaism brought to the world a way for someone when he regret about something that he has done wrong. And the Jews live on this way of if someone did something wrong, he can regret and fix it. And the rabbi is hugging you and hugging everybody. And God willing, and from now on, strong things and good things, and only good. You are a very good man.
Amen. That's blessed, man. Yeah,
Okay, so yeah, so there you have it. Kanye West, I guess, issuing an apology. I don't know what type of rabbi that is, but I don't know if Candace has seen this because this is she's going to lose it. Okay, so I need to check on Candace, make sure everything is okay out there. Okay, what are you guys saying? What are you guys saying? Where are we, Lady Candace? All right. Ooh, where are we, man? Ah, good to see you, Eric. Candace always has never no, there's no concrete evidence. It's just yes, she gossips, bears for witness. Proverbs. Yeah, has conspiracy theories go like weed. You pour one, that one springs up. That's exactly what happens. Because every day it's a new thing. It's a new thing. It's like a soap opera, man. Crazy Town. What is Crazy Town now? There you go. Notice Candace said her Charlie would split up the last time they would tour. He wouldn't tour with her. Oh, good point. I didn't even notice that. And this idea, like, I just like, okay, Candace, so now and do you know what? Even if she is presented with information as to how the UVU campus tour came about, you think she's going to be satisfied? You think she's going to be satisfied? No, she's not going to be satisfied. She's just looking to blame people right now. And now that her podcast is on #1, oh my gosh. This just validates her. Like, yes, you are the woman right now. You are the queen. So she's going to double down like you've never seen. So buckle up, guys. Buckle up. All right, guys, let's finish up real quick, okay? So, because this is our last live this week, okay? We'll be back next week because I'm not here this weekend. All right, so let's finish up, okay? Let's finish strong. Let's finish strong with our live. Here we go, guys. All right.
Supposed to just feel good about that and think that she's traumatized, but she wasn't traumatized when she wore boots and stood outside for Wall Street Journal to click a picture of her a couple of days after Charlie died. I don't know. It feels like she was good and she's a star now and tried to hard launch her podcast. She actually tweeted a couple of things the last couple of days, dripping with anger towards people that are asking meaningful questions. Here's one thing she wrote. Let me tell you something about Mikey. He's a mate. Just kidding. She didn't say that. I'm one of the longest tenured employees now at the organization. And Mikey has a servant's heart. If ever I've seen one, you know why he went to Korea and Japan? Because my boss, our productions director, who is the father of 6 children, asked him to. He is always traveling with me, a good portion of it. And he missed his kids. And he asked Mikey to please go and film instead. Okay. I'm just going to say, I think he probably went to Japan and Korea because it's an awesome opportunity. I don't know. I'm just a person who's been around a lot. And if I said, hey, do you guys want to go to Japan? Hip, hip, hooray. It's amazing. It's not exactly, going to build a house. What is it? House for habitat houses, whatever it's called. House for habitat in the middle of the jungle or something like that. I think this is.
Guys, I can't. The text, Candace, you don't work for Turning Point USA. The lady who works there is telling you how it ended up Mike going to Korea. The guy who was supposed to go decided not to go because he could spend time with his family. No, Candace doesn't want to believe that. Say, oh no, that's not what happened. I'm going to tell you what happened. That Mike just wanted to go there for an opportunity. But they're just giving you a reason how he ended up there. No, that's not good enough for Candace.
A pretty exciting opportunity. And so I don't understand why we just can't get basic answers about Mikey McCoy that would allow us to just move on from how we are feeling about his behavior following things and the things that were said about him following things, which make us feel like they were priming him to take over for Charlie. And we heard these things from his father.
Okay, so what if Mike McCoy takes over for Charlie? That's not your call, Candace Owens. That is not your call. It's not your place to decide who takes over for Charlie. And to be quite honest, if I was Erika Kirk, just for the sake of it, I'll just be, I'm stepping down and I'm appointing Mike McCoy to be the CEO just to get in Candace Owens' head. I'll actually do that. No, it's not your call, okay? It is absolutely not your call. Erika Kirk is in charge of Turning Point USA. She can hire and fire as she pleases. You don't have to like it.
We heard these things from people at Turning Point USA. And if you're looking for a fact, he took over for Charlie, who was slated to speak at Liberty University. Okay, that's just a fact. Alex Clark also threw shade at us, and it's kind of incredible that she said this working for Turning Point USA. Here's what she wrote. On every podcast tribute.
That's not true that Mike McCoy took over speaking at Liberty. That's what Ali Beckstag just debunked. So I don't know where she's getting that information from.
Tribute episode I did about Charlie, I did not run my ad sponsorships. My directive and choice to my team. We are now in debt to my sponsors. I didn't care. It felt like the right thing to do. Okay, so Turning Point made something like $90 million in the couple of weeks following Charlie's death. I think I first heard $70 million. It's gone up since then. They were selling t-shirts at the memorial event, Freedom Charlie t-shirts. They were selling products. And she is, I guess, trying to imply that me speaking about his death and running ads is problematic. Now, first and foremost, on our tribute episode, we ran absolutely 0 ads. We didn't even let YouTube run ads on that episode. So this is not a tribute episode. This is my podcast, and we're investigating this murder. And every person who is doing podcasts, whether it's Ali speaking about his Catholic journey, Lila speaking about what happens, whatever context they're putting it into, whether it's PBD and his team, which spoke a lot about Charlie Kirk after he died. Why are you looking at me as being the person who's reading my ads? What are you pretending you made some huge sacrifice because for a couple of episodes you didn't run ads? This is what there's just so much inauthenticity coming out of this company right now. I'm such a good person. Look at me. Like, I didn't read ads on 2 of my episodes, but I did do this Wall Street Journal thing and try to hard launch my podcast a couple days after he died. But look at me. I declined to do. What was the total amount that you postponed, by the way? Because you didn't decline it. You postponed having to read ads and said that you made them up later. It's just, there's something that really bothers me about this.
Yeah, Alex shouldn't have said that. You know what it defeats the point. Because it is true let's be honest, the memorial did not even feel like a memorial. That was like a MAGA campaign. The people were signing up to vote. They were selling the t-shirts. They had those pyrotechnics, all those other things that they were going on. And yes, even they were sending emails for people to donate money, and they've made a lot of money. Those things are actually true. And these are the things that have happened with Turning Point. They did fundraise over this issue. So if they did fundraise over this issue, because Alex works for Turning Point USA, for her to be pointing a finger, it just looks like, but that's what your organization is also doing. So yes, Candace has a case there, okay? And, we all know, Candace has been catapulted to number 1 of this Charlie Kirk. And she has racked up dough more than any other podcast that she has hosted on her channel. That's just a fact. The numbers, numbers don't lie. Those things are absolutely there. The issue with her is, yes, make money. There's nothing wrong with you making money. But you are making money off things that are actually not true. You're accusing Mike McCoy. Where's the evidence? Her point is to find out who killed Charlie Kirk. But you're just going to these rabbit holes. So now you'll be like, okay, we are not arriving to truth. Every day is something else. Things that don't even add up, things that don't make any sense. You're overwhelming, you're flooding the zones. So it's a legitimate question to ask, like, okay, are you actually in quest of truth, or you're just doing these things to benefit your bottom line? It's a fair question for people to wonder and to ask. But for Alex to lap in that job while Turning Point is out here sort of like fundraising, it defeats the purpose. If you want to come after Candace Owens, you come after her based upon her substance, okay? Because if you're just saying whatever you're saying, you are on this platform, you want the people to watch your channel and everything else, you are also doing the same thing that Candace Owens is doing, right? So for you to come at that, it's just like, you sound like a hypocrite. Go after her substance. Because the stuff that she's saying over here, like what we showed here, right? Erika Kirk spoke to Mike McCoy. Candace Owens didn't play that. Why? The airplane was debunked. The Nebraska chapter, they verified. You know what I'm saying? So there's so much that you can go. She said the husband supports her. Then she says the husband doesn't watch the stuff. Which is it? So it's not so hard to find out the holes in her case over here.
Angry at people who are investigating Charlie's death and catching them in lies. That's why she's mad. She's mad because she lied about me on her podcast, and I called it out, okay? If you don't lie on me, I won't have to call it out. If you don't tell lies about things that took place, about things that were happening at Turning Point USA, at the reason why Charlie wanted a Doge as she did. Oh, we do this no, you don't do a Doge every year. You want to know how I know that? Because Doge didn't exist before Elon Musk. So it's like, what are you saying? They want us to pretend we're really dumb.
No, Candace, that's a stretch. When she made the Doge, they do audit every year. Using the term Doge, people understand that. But she just meant they do audit every year. No, this woman is also forgetting that she left Turning Point years ago. Things have changed. But this is also the problem with her. She wants to act like she left Turning Point yesterday, which is not the case.
And it's emotionally manipulative for them to be like, that's how you honor Charlie. Pretend to be an idiot. Pretend to not know how accounts work. Pretend to not know what it means when we say certain things and then change our stories multiple times. Pretend like it's just beyond the pale that Candace would suggest that we're engaging in a cover-up. yes, I did say that. I didn't say that Mikey murdered Charlie Kirk. I said Turning Point is engaged in a cover up because that is literally the only reason that people lie. Anytime you lie, it's because you're covering up the truth. You're engaging in a cover up, even if it's a white lie. Even if I say, I'm trying to surprise a friend for a birthday party and
Turning Point is engaged in the cover up. Who is in charge of Turning Point USA? Erika Kirk. So can we conclude that Erika Kirk is engaging in the cover-up? The buck stops with Erika Kirk. So Candace, oh man.
I tell her, I'm the only one that's going to be there. Meet me here. It's a lie because I'm covering up a certain truth, right? That is what lies are for. There is no other reason to lie unless you're covering something up. So when you lied.
Notice she hasn't told us this lie. What lie is Turning Point covering up? These are just individuals, okay? Yes, whatever, you might not like how this crack girl is handling herself, so you need to tell us, which lie are they covering up? And because they've lied about that lie, does that mean that they are the ones who deleted Charlie Kirk? As if Candace Owens has never lied before. And we've just caught her in her lies right now. She told us the husband is behind everything, but she also told us that the husband doesn't watch anything. Is that a lie, Candace?
About the Catholicism thing, it wasn't because you murdered Charlie Kirk, Alex. It was because likely you guys.
The Catholic thing. What did I tell you guys? How many times has he said that? We need to be keeping score on that one.
We're more concerned with your Christian Zionist donors and also pressure from your Jewish donors. And so you just lied to cover up the truth about where Charlie was at. Turning Point USA is telling a lot of lies. They're engaged in a cover up. I said it. I'm putting my name on that. I will not be apologizing for what I said. Come forth with the truth or don't, okay? And if you don't, we're just going to keep investigating and see how you feel about it. Take a quick break and I'll get to some of your comments. All right, you guys.
So she's not apologizing. She's standing by her remarks. Turning Point is engaged in cover-up. They are involved in a cover-up. That's what she said. So is Turning Point going to respond? Is Erika going to respond? I do not know. But I want you guys to see this girl that Candace Owens has been defending, but she was involved in necromancy. So I was just like, wait a minute. Doesn't she claim to be a Christian? This Brett Cooper girl, okay? Watch this, guys, because I was just like, what in the world? Okay? We are in the necromancy territory. So she's got into it with Ted Cruz, okay? Because they're out here defending Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson and the civil war that's going on inside MAGA. So it looks like, she's Team Nick Fuentes. And then when Nick responded, I should have brought up that thread, just responded like, clapping for Brett Cooper, said Team Hitler. I was just like, you see, is this a guy you want to be defending? Oh, man, I'm laughing. Popcorn out, guys. Popcorn out with these influencers. All right, watch this.
We did all sorts of things. My mom visited mediums. That was right after. I mean, I haven't done that, and I kind of want to, but she did. She went to multiple mediums, like one in New York where you don't tell them or even his assistant like who you are or anything about you, and you go to this hotel room, and you would just like sit there. It was like talking about it is so weird. And both her first husband and David popped up.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And we're like, there's a 17-year-old young man here who wants to speak to you. I mean, it was like, I was actually just thinking about this meeting the other day. I was Googling, trying to see if I could find him. I need to ask my mom the name because I would love to go just do this. But yeah, she was able to speak to Don, her first husband, to hear from him. She had a miscarriage between the boys, I think, and I'm pretty sure that at one of the medium things that baby came in, said something.
You know the lights just dimmed behind you twice.
I saw that.
Yeah. I was just like, what is this? What is this? So, and then Candace was defending her. Say, oh, her parents went through, lost the twin brother and everything, which is tragic. It's very unfortunate. However that tragic is, even if you're mourning, you're grieving and everything, there is no excuse to be going to mediums, to be doing necromancy, to be consulting witches, because that's an abomination. Simple and straightforward. So I was just like, okay, all right, MAGA, all right, the so-called Christian influencers, like, what are we doing out here? So I thought that was quite strange. And Candace Owens was defending that. Oh, no, give her grace and everything. I was just like, guys, if something is wrong, it is wrong. Stuff don't stop being wrong simply because, quote unquote, the person is grieving. That's what leads to compromising. Okay? So we can't do that. That is not allowed. All right, guys, what are you guys saying? What are you guys saying? So no live on Friday, no live on Saturday, okay? We'll do something either Monday or Tuesday. But I have already videos uploaded on the channel. So you'll be able to have content between now till the next live. So be sure to take advantage of that, okay? All right, what are you guys saying? Man, these glasses are not even helping tonight. I have said some things I later regretted in a maniac state. Oh, I'm okay. So I should have gone to what you said earlier. Said our child would be split up. Wow, he's speaking truth. I can relate. Oh, Nick Fuentes, right? I was just like, oh my gosh. Yes, he said what? I was just like, no lies detected here. Nick Fuentes. No lies detected here. When people are maniac, they say things that they are okay and later regret it. Oh, what's his name? Kanye, don't forget, remember Kanye was doing Jesus is King, you know what I mean, the tour. He was like a born again, the entire evangelical rallied against him. Where is Kanye West now? Where are the evangelicals now? So I just like, I learned the lesson from Kanye. I was just like, no, if a celebrity comes to the Lord, yes and amen, I rejoice. But until we see a demonstrable fruit over their lives, I am out here just watching. Because we get too excited with these celebrities and then they burn us. And then we look foolish. Now Kanye parades his wife naked in public. And this is the guy who was out here, Jesus is King. And, don't get me started on Kanye. Yeah. I don't mess with this type of stuff. Yes, it's no, like the mediums, whatever, we don't do that. Yeah. Yes, a lot of people do go to the medium, whatever, they're looking for answers because you have a hole in you. Like, no, the medium, these evil spirits are the abomination. Plus, even the person that you're seeing there is not your loved one. That's like a demon disguised as your loved one, Yeah, so give a regard to medium and familiar spirits. Do not seek after them to be defiled by them. I'm the Lord your God. Yeah, Leviticus 19:31. Seeking that stuff is ungodly. Yes. And God calls that it's an abomination. It's detestful to God. Yes, just like, no, do not consult the dead. We do not speak to the dead. It doesn't matter how bad your situation is, like the word of God, our anchor, is Christ, not these mediums and everything. Yes, you guys. So I think we did it. Consider this as a double, okay? Our Friday live and the Saturday live, okay? So, all right, guys, we have to leave it there. I do appreciate your viewership. Absolutely. Let's continue this conversation in the comment section because there was just a lot. I was just like, Candace. But I'm out here. I'm like, yeah, Ali. So be on the lookout. The next person is going to be Ali and Layla. Candace already came after Layla because Layla's husband is a veteran. So Ali has already spoken in Turning Point USA. Trust and believe she's going to be next. She's going to be next. Yeah. Praying cards with people, their fortune. Yes, those are like these people, I forgot whatever they call that. No, like the palm readers. No, all that is in the category of witchcraft. God calls that an abomination. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. I am so glad that you were here with me. I do appreciate your viewership. Don't forget to like this live on your way out. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and double check to make sure you're a subscriber. Until next time, remember to be in the know. Thank you.